stars. Sweat fall off your face into dance floor, babe. Dance on, babe. Sweat falls off my face inside. Stand up, babe. Stand up. It's nights like this we're wide awake. It's times like this you shy away from me, babe. Started in a hotel lobby, cleaned up just to get your sloppy. Things I showed you, I can't try. Started in a hotel.
Do you still have those nightmares, baby? Where you see me, you still tell yourself you hate me. Won't believe it lately. I know I'm still the villain you told me. You look me in the eyes like you don't even know me. Didn't kill you, didn't kill you, but I was there too, I was there too. You look me in the eyes like you don't even know me. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. You don't even know me.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the European Champions Cup, your weekly Vainglory European competitive action. I'm your host once again for this edition, joined by my good friend Day Nominee. How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing perfect, Max. Thank you for having me here today. We've got some really exciting matchups for you guys today. I think this first one is definitely going to be a awesome head-to-head to see which one of these teams ends up coming out on top. Lots of, per the usual at least, lots of ex-Vainglory 3v3 pros in here. Now, obviously, moving into 5v5, and it's been wonderful doing this tournament. It's like one of the earlier looks at what's to come for 2019.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff to look at right now. I'm just trying to re-invite the players right now. We got almost everyone in the party, guys, so we'll be taking just a few minutes before we do jump into the first game today. So we do have two awesome sets of BO3s coming to you guys today for that weekly Vainglory action that you guys all deserve at home. So let's start looking at the two matches coming up today. So this is the semi-finals. Well, these are the matches of the semi-finals of the European Champions Cup, brought to you by MGL. So the first match is going to be unfolding in the next upcoming seconds will be Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta. So Oogie Boogie being able to secure that first spot in the A group, and B group going to be secured by Divine Vendetta. So that's going to be the clash of Group A and Group B, where the best players. And then the second game is going to be the two second place for both seeds. So we're going to be having then Sly versus Potato Pedal. That's going to be in about an hour and a half. So we'll be running that match ASAP. But before we do go into the first match, let's check out the rosters for today, guys. So for Oogie Boogie, the players that we'll be having. So these are all the players on both sides. We're going to be saying specifically which players are playing for both sides. So Oogie Boogie today will be represented by Leon, Hegeman, Joyce Gags, Oriel, and Keith specifically. And then for Divine Vendetta, it will be X-Dragon, Agony, also then followed up with Viking, Joker, and Los Oswaldos. Those are the fully pledged rosters for today. And they're just going to be checking out the players. But do you expect anything coming out of these matches today, Denomine, before we do get into the draft? Apparently no. It's all good.
Sorry about that. You caught me right in the middle of a sip of coffee.
Okay.
I definitely expect we're going to see some pretty similar drafting coming through this weekend. You know, the meta's set pretty heavily right now as we approach the end of this update. But you know, we're gonna have a lot of captains prioritized on the early picks, as well as a couple will get picked up in the bans, and I think the Anka and the Reza will also play a huge part of the ban phase as well. It does leave a couple power picks that I think these teams are going to fight over. We have the Celeste and the Scarf, obviously, for Hegman, have been absolutely fantastic picks. Meanwhile, you look at some of the other picks that have worked really well, you know, the Silver Nail, the Kinetic, and from there, you know, there's a lot on the table this update.
Yeah, like definitely a lot of picks we're going to be checking her out. Also, you got to check out the very like specific picks on certain players like Chumwalker, Reza, Anka. Specifically talking about Leon, I think you did expect that Denominate. Like, absolute beast on those kind of characters. So maybe on the enemy team coming out, if you're on the side, of course, of Divine Vendetta, you might want to try and like take into consideration those kind of pickups. Maybe not give them away as easily as you would expect, or if you do give them away, try and get hard counters on your side. But it is Divine Vendetta, so I do expect a lot of high action coming out from their side. We did have the draft like the not starting right now. We found him match for a party, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, we're just gonna restart the draft and we'll be jumping right into it. Like, as you said, like a lot of right now focus on these captain heroes as we do jump finally into the draft. Sorry for the delay, guys, but we're finally going to be starting the first BO3 of today. Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta. I completely what? Divine Vendetta. There it is. Oh, DVI.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to see these two teams go together. I think there are two teams that performed exceptionally well, and definitely looking to see how they move forward. The next matchup, Potato Petal versus Sly, is another one that I'm waiting for here, Max. That one is gonna be an awesome matchup. Those two teams showed a lot of dominance in their previous matchups, and I definitely think that they'll give us a nice even game to watch. The Adagio is taken off the board, which is one that we don't normally see, but the Anka is quickly followed up, as you have mentioned to us time and time again that Leon's Anka is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, definitely right now a lot of really nice bands coming out both sides. Adagio does not really that typical band you see coming out a lot, but they are on the A side. Oogie Boogie have that A side potential first pick, so I think they're just letting as many high captain pick rate like heroes available right now. So looking right now, you have Finn, you have Arden, you have Lorelei. Also, Chumwalker has been completely huge when it was played by Leon on the side of Oogie Boogie. So they do ban away the Chumwalker, as I do mention it, but Reza is open. Such a devastating hero right now. We saw it early on in the tournament and also in WSG, Reza being a really highly focused ban hero. But right now it's been open, made its way through the first ban phase of this first game of this BO3. And Rez is going to be picked up. And who's it going to be played by? Because Leon, he was insane on that pickup last weekend. Just going 1v3, jungle invade, securing the weapons and the gold X for his own. That's going to be very, very dangerous early on. So they have to pick counters now to this Reza. But right now they go for the Arden. Not really surprised to go for that, and they have a lot of highly skilled players on their side that could definitely play Arden in that top lane to a really good amount of success.
Yeah, Arden definitely one of the stronger picks. Definitely you can flex him into a lane, into the jungle, into a captain position, no problem. There definitely is a little bit more priority on a main tank position, which you know, can typically be either a Lorelei or a Finn or a Lyra, something along that nature. What's nice about the Reza pickup here on the side of Oogie Boogie, though, is that they can flex this really potent pick between Leon or Oriel pretty easily, and just depending on how the rest of the draft goes. But now that Kinetic is picked up, we still haven't seen the Scarf or the Celeste come through. We could see it in the last two picks for Oogie, but that's all we've seen Hegman play so far. Kinetic would be definitely throwing DVI for a little bit of a loop here if they end up putting that on Hegman.
Also, Kinetic and Silvanel are two of the best carries right now, and they're two of the main picks coming out from Joyce Gags. So Joyce Gags, if he does commit and go to that bot lane position that he does main right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull off one of the nicest kinetic ever. He's really a highly skilled player on that specific pick. But his best pick, in my opinion, is the Sylvanel. So they didn't go for that. They committed for this kinetic. And I think kinetic's really good when you want to try and create room between yourself and also an enemy like kind of dive and brawler. Specifically in this case it will be the Arden. So kinetic into this Arden is going to try and harass and take her down. It's going to be having a lot of room to move around, also dash out a lot of damage with her A, and also with that stun when she does hit level 8 power spike. So I do really like the fact that she did go for the kinetic in this kind of situation. They did go for the Malign and also the Sylvanel. So far the early game in my opinion would be definitely going over to the side of Divine Vendetta, but they must commit to it. And when you're going against a Reza that's going to be specifically even played by Leon, that's going to be something pretty hard to pull off. But Day, you were talking about it, Hegman on the Scarf.
Hegman, the undefeated Scarf. We'll have to see if DVI can change that here. They've got a lot of early and mid-game potential, specifically looking at the Arden and the Maylene. They're now getting themselves a Vox, which will likely go down the Crystal path, and then Silvernail obviously going weapon. But this is going to be a game based on scaling, and I do think DVI have a little bit of an edge here early on in their composition. But I'm going to be honest. I think Oogie Boogie is the stronger team as far as their rotations go. And I even think that DVI may struggle early on to get a good gold lead.
I think DVI are definitely going to be having a little bit of struggle there, but once again, they do have this Malign, so I want to see a lot of aggression. I've even potentially level 1 or level 2 jungle invades. That would make the most sense in my opinion. Then we also do have this Vox. Because they do have the Sylvanel that's going to be normally going down in bot lane. There's been a few jungle Sylvanels, but I don't think in this kind of situation and in this case, in this specific scenario, it would make a lot of sense to go for this weapon jungle, jungle Sylvanel. So it would be normally jungle Malign and mid lane CP Vox, and we can already see Viking. He's gone for the crystal bit. He's ready to go with that CP Vox, and CP Vox is going to be, I think he's going to be actually really nice to pull off because you have Leon. He's going to be on the front line, and actually it's not Leon just playing the Reza as we were expecting. It will not be the case. Oriel will be the one to go with this Reza pickup. But like CP Vox in general against their comp, I think is going to be pretty nice when he hits the mid game, when he gets his Eve of Harvest, Alternative Current build itemization. And so far I really do like DVI and Oogie. So like I wouldn't say the draft is kind of responsible for winning or losing situation here, Denominate.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think we have a pretty intense game looking ahead of us here. As you mentioned, definitely want to see that aggression come out of Agony on the Maylene. He can set up some pretty amazing ganks with that early root from the light ribbons, as well as giving himself that speed buff. But first kill is going to get picked up, as you mentioned, Joey Skaggs on the kinetic, one of his two better heroes. Agony looking to. Was looking like he was going to try to get a steal in there, but smart that he didn't. There was a scout cam in that bush, but back to the jungle it goes for them.
A little bit unfortunate for Los Oswaldos. He did use the flask too, so he did lose everything in that skirmish. First blood, it did indeed go over to Iggy Boogie only a few seconds into that game. Already have a gold lead. Already the 1,000 gold lead. More than 1,000 gold lead right now going over to Iggy Boogie. That's quite impressive, and right from the get-go, we're going to have to see a Divine Vendetta team trying to claw their way back up into this game, which is not going to be the easiest of things to do, because when you lose the early game with a Malign, that doesn't really like say much of what's going to happen in the upcoming game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and they need to start capitalizing on this very, very early. This Maylene needs to get to a comfortable spot. She needs to get that Aftershock finished so that she can start putting out that high burst damage. She has... Ooh.
That's damage.
Almost. Hegman might have to recall here in a minute. But, yeah, as I was saying, the Maylene has a lot of opportunity to scale up. She's got very low cooldowns, able to really spam out those Aftershock procs. But if you fall behind, you lose that golden window where this Maylene is going to be useful, and it's going to start hurting you, specifically against the Scarf as the game moves on.
Talking about the goal lead, there was a little bit of a goal lead at 1k going over to the side of Oogie Boogie, but it's been reduced right now to almost nothing, just a little 300, so they were able to claw it back up a little bit. They were a little bit slow on their rotation, so that's why they were able to get that gold back up their sleeve and just reduce that gold gap. But still, the gold gap is not completely gone, so just got to be pretty cautious about that. We're going to have another invade coming out from Oriel, but unfortunately 1v3. Maybe, even if it's Reza, maybe not the kind of situation you want to try and engage. She's just going to be backing out of that one as we are 3 minutes in. And so far, pretty pretty nice early game. And once again, a 4-man invade, 4v3. This is going to be pretty hard to stop if you're on the side of Divine Vendetta. Crystal Chain going pretty low. Can they steal it away? But it will be procced and taken by Hegman, the beast, on the Scarf, and able to secure it pretty easily with a Spitfire.
Leon on the run. He's going to make it out, getting underneath that turret.
Oh.
Agony and X-Dragon were looking for the kill there, but now here comes the rest of Oogie Boogie.
Trade for trade. 1 CP tune for you, 1 for me. Now they're going to re-engage route onto X-Dragon. They do get a little bit of a silence, but X-Dragon, unfortunately, not going to be tanky enough. Will be given over his life. Viking, Lawn Energy, cannot use his Sonic Zoom anymore. So he's just going to be a little bit cautious there. Not ready to skirmish once again, but he is full HP, so shouldn't be in too much of a bad spot. As we are almost 4 minutes in, and 2 kills to 0 going over to Iggy Boogie, and now the goal lead still like climbing a little bit, but still they're able to find counters rotations. That is not something we've been seeing that much up against Iggy Boogie. Sometimes, like most of the time in game number 1, they would just completely decimate you, and this time it seems like DVI, they knew what the hell was going on, and they just counter rotated that. Like, you invade us, we go for the invade, or like things like that, and they were able to pull it off pretty nicely so far. They just got to keep going with that kind of mentality and try and get to the mid game, also to the late game. They have to get this Milene like power spikes as soon as possible. She doesn't have an aftershock yet. He does have the goal to get the aftershock though, so just got to be paying close attention to this Milene, because still she's going to be a really big winning condition for the side of Divine Vendetta.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there, Max. And you know, again, I think this is really going to come down to the later stage of the game. Hegman on the Scarf. Yeah, he just has absolutely great positioning on this hero. We've seen him pick it up multiple times. Even when he got forced off the Scarf, he was able to pick up the Celeste and pull out the victory with that Celeste. And that just goes to show that Hegman has these mages and their positioning down pat. Up here in the top lane, we do have Leon getting pushed quite a bit by Agony and X-Dragon. But I think Agony is spending quite a bit too much time in the top lane for what they're actually achieving, if you understand what I'm saying there. But you know, they haven't even got to push down that turret yet. Hegman, he's free to make a rotation up because the rotation is slow from Vox in the bot lane. It's just not looking to be a good start here for DVI so far. They're a little ahead in gold, couple hundred, but nothing crazy. They might actually get this top turret this pass through though.
They do get, though, the CP buff down here. Joyce Cat going to use this flask, though, getting a little bit harassed by the Joker, though, in the top lane, as we were mentioning. It will be the first turret of the game going over to DVI. I still think, unfortunately, I think Milene should have maybe put bigger emphasis and focus on getting gold and also maybe a few kills up her sleeve. She wasn't able to do that, unfortunately. Look at that Spitfire damage down on Viking. Disgusting amount of damage. Just got to be a little bit cautious. He is low on energy. Hegman isn't, though. He does have that little energy battery, so just able to sustain his damage output just a little bit more, as we are now approaching the 6 minutes after we do actually get into the 6-minute part of the game. We do see a goal lead only of 1,000. So, like, they did have a really nice first level 1 rotation coming out from, once again, Oogie Boogie. Like, they haven't really been able to commit to that early game advantage. So, it just, once again, I got to give credit to DVI as they were able to counter-rotate quite effectively these kind of invades. Though we do now have Agony. He has his Aftershock, and then normally that's finally going to be the potential for Agony after they did get that turret in the top. He's finally going to be able to join team fights fully on, and I'm just looking to try and look for like the next team fight with Agony, and that is going to be a big winning condition. Once again, as we do see him running away though this time from Leon, Keys, and Hegman, so he's not ready to commit quite yet. But another jungle invade, man. They're pulling these triggers so much, but Oriel 1v3. Getting slowed down, getting CC'd down also by the fish food. But I want to be a little bit cautious. He's put down to mid HP. Maybe he cannot go for another jungle invade as he is quite low. So he's just going to try and regen up. As we do have a little bit of a rotation towards the mid lane, Denomine.
Yeah, looks to be the case. Ariel on the outskirts here is a little bit hurt for health right now. So we'll have to be careful on the Reza. Good heal from Keys. Going to heal that up. Hegman not at a great spot on the Scarf yet. And Viking is getting to a very strong part of his Vox build, so this could be an interesting fight, but we don't have Arden as part of this fight. That's the thing. We have a 5-man rotation from Oogie Boogie looking to pressure this mid lane.
Yeah, we do have the Joker, though. He's rotating around, going to try and give assistance, but unfortunately a little too late. They're going to go for the Crystal Chain. Can he take it away? Holy Nova just in time. Oh, Sonic Zoom. And also the wait for it was way too late as Oriel dives on through. 1v2 under turret. He does get 1 kill. Agony will be able to survive with a slither of HP. The Divine Intervention just in case on top of Oriel to keep him nice and healthy. What a fight. What a pair of beasts coming out on Oogie Boogie. And now they have the potential to go for an objective as they will normally, yes, they will indeed change their focus over to this Ghost Ring.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. They're sitting up 3-0 right now. There is about 1,000 gold lead on the side of DVI, but it's just not as far ahead as we'd like to see them. Hagman is trying to get this crystal tree out, but DVI, they're on their way, but so is the rest of Iggy, and that's going to get Hagman that buff secured. Approaching level 8 on the Scarf, going to get that extra range coming from the Spitfire, and that's where Hagman's going to start to be a little bit more aggressive. The projectile moves a little bit faster, so it's going to be a little bit easier to land some of those hits.
Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit more of a threat in the next upcoming skirmishes. But they do have, once again, a rotation. They didn't have a rotation towards the weapon chin in the jungle of Divine, but now they have that. They have the lead. They have the few items to get those power spikes, so they're feeling a lot more confident. So now they can just take these engages as they do decide to. Viking, though, in the mid lane, going to be sieged out 1-on-4. They're looking for this turret. Agony going to be rotating away. Sonic Zoom going to try and get his make out of it. Did use the wait for it, unfortunately. Not too great success, but look at that. Still, that damage, pretty impressive. He doesn't have his Eve of Harvest yet, which is going to be the second power spike onto Viking on his CP Vox. And if he does decide to go for Dragon's Eye, which I wouldn't really recommend in this kind of situation. I don't know what you think, Denominate, but I think here Broken Myth instead of Dragon's Eye would give you a lot more burst potential, and also just instead of scaling up your damage, because you're not against the most tanky of heroes on the enemy team. I think that here going for Broken Myth and not going for scaling damage would make a lot more sense.
I absolutely agree with you there, Max. There's not a ton of tank. You know, we don't have a Finn on the front line. We don't have a Churnwalker on the front line. It's going to be a tanky Grace, but you know, Grace is going to be diving in the back line. That's not going to give you your optimal resonance bounces, so it's not the most ideal target to have, unfortunately, for Viking there. As we see Agony and Viking retreating there.
X-Dragon then dived
no.
on through on the turret. He does get a nice little bit of a silence with that tripwire, but that will just not be enough. That 1v2 dive coming out from Joyce Cax and Leon being absolutely on point. Do go for another invade though. Oriel pretty low. They're going to try and use the war chest. They're going to try and get on top of him. He does use the flask. Will that be enough? Gets a heal out from Keys. Wait for it. Will not be able to get the killing blow, and that's going to be a successful escape by your boy Oriel, as we have finally the top lane turret going down to Leon. Holy Nova going to be missing out, unfortunately. Did use the block just in case. Joker going to use his gauntlet, going to be able to get Oriel out of position without his nether form detonator, so he will be taking quite a hit. He already used his flask earlier, so he's in a bit of a bad spot right now. He's going to be rooted up, uses the bulwark, avoids this root coming up from the Malign, but that will just not make the cut. And he will be the first casualty in this skirmish coming out from Iggy Boogie. And the first casualty in this game, actually. Nice little bit of a stun on Oriel, but he's just playing around. And he's just so low on health. No flask. Has to be a little bit more cautious here, in my opinion. But he doesn't care. He's looking for this buff. He wants the gold. Give the goblin some gold. Going to be able to try and run away. War Treads once again, man. They're playing on the edge. And they're able to pull it off.
Hagman,
Woo!
Huge damage there. One Spitfire goop. Half of Silvernail's health. So that goes to show the power of the Scarf. Only sitting on that Spellfire and the Clockwork and a couple Crystal Bits right now. So you can definitely tell once that Broken Myth comes out where the damage for Hagman is really going to start to ramp up. We've talked about it, Max, several times throughout this tournament. The Pierce does stack with his ultimate. So you can potentially get, you know, like, what, 90% shield piercing?
I believe it is, yeah.
90, 95, somewhere right around true damage. And that's a scary thing. That ultimate already has, you know, 800 damage. So you add all the crystal power onto it, the true damage essentially, and man, that can just melt your whole team incredibly quick. And looking over at the other side, we don't have a ton of reliable stuns, but Waldos has definitely landed a ton of amazing fish foods. So we'll have to see if he's able to maybe stun the Scarf out, maybe even just slow him down with a splashdown. And we might have to see the gauntlet get used actually too.
Yeah, it is definitely very reliable on that Lorelei pickup. They're going to try and seed it out. They do have this Ghosting buff, so they can do extra damage, 15% extra damage actually on this mid lane turret, but they won't be able to find it at least of now. Benediction trying to get the slow. Holy Nova are going to be Crucible down. I think Leon went a little bit too deep right there. He does get the Crucible and a Divine Intervention down onto Keith. Maybe not the main target you want to try and save out, as Oriel went for a one-man invade under that second mid lane turret. We'll be backporting though. I don't think that's really what you want to try and do. Maybe you want to try and assist your team. But though they will leave him slip away, as Agony did go down anyway as a casualty for DVI's team. So they will be letting that one slip away, as Blacklaw is now spawned in Omine. So the next team fight, if it is taken away by DVI, might be an opportunity for them to claw back into this game.
Yeah, and the efforts from Ariel recalling was just enough to save that turret.
Oh,
so,
he took the... Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, gonna prevent some gold from going over into DVI's pocket. And you know that 1,000 gold lead that we saw earlier from DVI is now about a 3K deficit for them. So this is where the game really is going to quickly start to turn around. Maylene never had the impact that we would have liked to have seen. We didn't get enough early rotations down. Vox even not at the most comfortable portion of his build yet, while Scarf is getting right up into that zone. And X-Dragon, you know, he's sitting on 2 items, working into a third. He does have that infusion, but I don't think this is really where Silvernail wants to be up against a Scarf and a Reza.
Yeah, he's going to have a really hard time because I think Silvernail is best of a pick when you're dealing with dive. You're good against the Grace, you're good also against this Reza, but it's just about that really, I would say. But Arcane Passage right in, coming up from Hegeman, also going to try and get the Spitfire damage, not as much as he was expected. That's going to be a Dragon's Breath, raining down as Joystick melting very low. First casualty will be the Silvernail X-Dragon, unfortunately not able to survive the damage output coming up from the side of Iggy Boogie. Viking also pretty damn low. That's a 2-for-2 trade overall. 3 members remaining on both sides. They're going to be running on through. Nice little bubble route right there. Agony putting a big stop. Oh, no. Will he survive it? Will he survive it? The Spitfire, almost going to be hidden out, but will be tanked out by lots of Swaldos. Woo, sweaty.
That was a pretty crazy fight. We've seen everything come out all at once there. Unfortunately for Hegman, he didn't have a block for himself. He was limited on where he could go in that fight. The gauntlet, while it didn't really save the team, it definitely prevented any further harm. So excellent play coming out of the Joker there. He's working into an Aftershock of his own as well, so he's got that Crucible to help block out stuns, you know, for example, from the Grace. So that's going to be helpful for his tankiness. Now he's going to be looking to get some of the damage out, maybe put a little bit of punishment back onto Auriel, who's diving very deep in these fights very quickly and just isn't getting punished hard enough.
Yeah, has to try and take a little bit more of a focus on that. We are 50 minutes into the game, 7-3 going over to Oogie Boogie. Gold lead, almost inexistent, just a 500 small gold lead. And when you're 50 minutes in, it's not that impactful, to be honest. You can come back from that quite easily, so not too much of a problem in terms of lead in the gold part. You have a nice little bit of fishery down onto Hegman, going to be able to increase the rage. Leon, he does have that pulse, so he's going to be able to get a little bit of a slow. Not going to be able to commit with that, unfortunately. You see the Dragon's Eye, did go for the Dragon's Eye on Viking. Dragon's Breath going to be coming on through. He's focusing Viking now. Auriel going to be diving on through, going to try and get the kill, but unfortunately going to be doing way too deep and way too far from his team. Not going to be getting the support he was looking for, and he will be the first casualty in that fight. That's going to be Gauntlet stun out of the Gauntlet Joker. Get wrecked! Now Joker going pretty low, but so is the Kinetic. Joystick getting absolutely melted on that front lane. Not the place you want to be as a Kinetic. And now they picked up 3 members away on the Oogie Boogie squad. And now this is a free opportunity to go for this Blackwall. But Hegman and Keys are around. Can they turn this fight the other way?
They're looking to poke around, but it's going to be a rough call to make. I think this is pretty much going over to DVI, and I think this is smart. I think if you're Oogie, you just go ahead, you recall, you get ready for this push. You can win the next fight. The thing is Auriel got shut down incredibly hard there. All glass cannon on this Reza so far, no defense, no block to speak of. Went in, got rooted up, got punished, and that was a quick kill, and that turned a lot of the tide of the fight to DVI, and now they have this Black Claw pushing. They can get a little bit more gold in their favor and see what they can do with it.
Oh, look at the damage from the wave for it. CP Vox, nerf it, please. They're never going to be missing out. They did use a Crucible, though. Pretty unfortunate. Dragon's Breath coming on through, trying to roast the entire enemy team. Spitfire does get the killing blow for Hegman. Nicely done. Re-engage. They did find 2 picks in that skirmish. Now they will be able to run out of that one. 2-4-0 trade overall. Blacklaw pretty low. Will not be able to find the choke point trade in the mid lane. Overall, they were able to turn it around. Oogie able to claw back in that anti-siege fight. Still, like, the damage output coming out from Viking was pretty scary. And if they don't have a fight near turret, I don't know how that's going to be working out for Oogie Boogie.
No, definitely not. And there's still a lot of game ahead of us. This is realistically still anybody's game. The Ghost Wing is going to go over to the side of Oogie Boogie. I don't think Lorelai's going to make it over in time. Nope. Neither will Agony. So that's going to be another objective captured by the side of Oogie. They're going to go ahead and clear out the waves, it looks like here. We're sitting at 6 turrets apiece right now, remaining. Only about 1,000 gold lead, only a couple kills in difference. We're really getting to the late stage of the game here. Actually, a turret does get picked up there in the top lane. We're getting to the later stage of the game where a single death can really spell out the rest of this game. You know, we have the power from either of these sides. You know, Iggy, they've got the Scarf. He's just an objective pushing powerhouse. Looking over at the opposition, while we don't have as strong of a single carry, we do have a lot of damage spread out among the many members. You know, the Joker finally finishing that Aftershock, Fox finishing his third item, which did go that Dragon's Eye. So we'll have to see how that ends up working out for them in these next team fights, which, again, not lasting too long. So I'm not sure I agree with the Dragon's Eye here, Max. I would like to see the Broken Myth, like you had mentioned earlier.
You might go for 4-item CP Vox, not something you see that often. Holy Nova going to be coming on through for now. The Crucible on the side of DVI. Now that's going to be hard in our position. Drake could just get the gauntlet. They nail bit of stun onto Leon, that's going way too deep. But survives once again with just a slither of HP. Nice silence coming out from the Tripwire. Man, what an engage. Once again, the Arcane Passage dives from Keys have been absolutely on point. Look at that damage output. Hegman being an absolute beast on this Scarf. He's just going to force Viking and also Oswaldos to run away. They will be able to do so, but that's going to be unfortunately to the risk of losing their second mid lane turret, as they do lose it just a few seconds after. That's going to be a nice fight once again, taken over by Oogie Boogie. But I want to check out, I want to talk about X-Dragon on this Sylvanel real quick. He did overdrive his Tripwire ability as A. Something that I don't really agree with, to be completely honest. You want to max out your Rebuke, your ultimate on Sylvanel. And the reason for that is because on your second basic attack of your passive, when you upgrade your ultimate, you get more weapon damage ratio out of it. You get more potential damage overall. And when you go on Wizard Breaking Point, I think that's a lot more interesting to max out and overdrive your Rebuke. So in this kind of situation, I think he's kind of wasting potential damage output for also then potential stacks on his Breaking Point. So I think a little bit of a mistake coming up from X-Dragon, but still, he's doing, I don't know, he's 1-5. I was going to say he's doing okay.
Oh,
he
here
isn't
comes
really.
all of DVI.
Yeah, they are looking to try and dive out 3. They will be able to take the weapon buff secured away by the beast, known as Oriel, on this Reza. Trying to run away. That's 5-man dive. Where's the watch? Oh, look at that Spitfire. The damage is huge. You can't stop him. That's why he's unbeatable on that Scarf. Dragon Breath coming on through. Going to be trying to roast Ray, the side of DVI, and he does just that. Now, DVI, remaining members, going to be trying to run their way out of that one. Does use the boots 1 by 1. Going to try and split away. Oswald, he knows someone's going to die this. He's going to try and take away the focus from the side of Iggy Biggy. They will lose the Arden in the process. And that's going to be X-Dragon and Agony normally able to make their way out of that fight, as they do lose. Once again, the second turret, not in the mid lane this time, but top lane. And Lorelei going to be also picked up by Joyce Cags on his kinetic. This game is it was even in the early and mid game, but right now we're in the mid game part, and we were talking about how impactful the milling would have been in the early game. They weren't able to commit with that pick, and right now they're getting pretty much punished for their lack of rotation in the early game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that Arcane Passage, I think DVI, they had definitely a bit of commitment in that pursuit. They had the 3v5. What they weren't really ready for, that they should have thought about, was they walked right through that portal into that that Scarf, and it was just a painful turnaround for them. It was Oogie Boogie able to put up a bunch of clean kills on the board, as you mentioned, that top turret as well. The gold lead is now all the way up to 6,000, over 6,000. So this is where Oogie is really going to start to walk away. We've got a block onto Ariel here. It's going to hopefully help him survive a little bit more on the front line. But I think the Vox isn't really having the effect that he wants. These fights, they're only lasting realistically a couple seconds, where Vox is able to consistently output damage. There's a lot of chase, and then the fight just happens, and it's over in just such a short amount of time, thanks to Hegman on the Scarf and that huge piercing damage that he's got with that ultimate that just destroys the entire enemy team. Armory is down.
Oogie looking for the armory. Will not be looking for the end game though. Avengers reference, wink wink. So anyways, so far they're able to pull that off pretty nicely. Oriel, they're going to be looking for the bot lane second turret. They should be able to do so quite effectively. It was pretty on HP right from the start, so not too much of a hassle right there. But Keys, you can see with his positioning, he's looking for that Arcane Passage engage. But okay. Okay. I guess not then. You're just going to use it for fast travel. That's good.
Fast travel is the fastest way to get to this Black Claw, which is their next opportunity for winning this game. We've obviously got that mid lane cracked open. Yeah, we've got that mid lane cracked open. The Black Claw is just a little bit of extra spice. In fact, it might even just be a bait. DVI are coming over as we see Hegman starting to rotate over to his team.
Passage
Could be
is
the
up.
last
They're
fight.
going to get Gauntlet up. The Crucible going to be forced out pretty early from the side of Iggy Biggy, but unfortunately Arden is supposed to be tanky. He's getting melted down. First casualty of the fight. 2 kills going over to the side of Iggy Biggy. Spitfire doing a crap ton of damage. Right off top of this Maline. Going to be the ultimate down onto Los Oswaldos, but not going to be doing much work as he is pretty damn tanky, even though he is on the back line. That's going to be forcing away 2 casualties down. And they're looking for this Black Claw. They do have the vision away. Maybe Maline can do a miracle, but no, just going to be a little bit late. Will not be able to get a steal with this Shadow Tendril. So that's going to be Black Claw pushing possibly for the end game. And this might be going into the game number 1, going over to the side of Oogie Boogie, but is not over yet until the Vein Crystal still has HP. Is there no potential for DVI to come back in this game? That's what we're going to have to see, Denominate.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see. It's not looking good for DVI right now. The base is cracked open. Here comes the Black Claw. And there's just not a whole lot that DVI can do about it.
Nah.
Vein Crystal half health. This is going to be Oogie taking game 1 over DVI. Pretty intense matchup. Pretty back and forth throughout the mid phase of that game. Again, I think DVI put their eggs a little too heavy into the early game basket. They should have gone a Celeste to try to match the range of Hegman, try to match that massive AoE ability that he has. To me, the Vox didn't have any way to contest what Hegman was able to do.
Also, something very specific about that. We were talking about, I think Broken Myth would have been a more interesting item as a 3rd item. And also something very interesting, if you go for Dragon's Eye, it's fine in this situation, you can do it, it's not too much of a problem. But when you go for the Dragon's Eye, you need to be tanky, you must be able to sustain and stand the fight as long as possible. And then he started going for a little bit of CP defense, he didn't get that much. And the problem is that he would get melted in the late game team fights, and he just wouldn't have the time to stack up and dash out the damage that CP Vox is known for. And that's why I think both of us, Denominate, were focusing around this Broken Myth. It would have been a way more interesting item for him as his 3rd item, because it would just have allowed him to join the team fight at his max potential in terms of damage right off the bat. But that, unfortunately, he couldn't get to his max damage potential in those team fights, because we were talking about how much Hegman was doing in those fights. And also, got to give a little bit more props over to Joyskags on his kinetic. This is doing absolutely insane. 9-2 and Hangman 3-0. So I think when you're going for this Vox, you got to know that you can focus on the pure damage output. And we saw also it can be a really successful build build itemization, because we saw I believe it was yesterday, Denominate, when you were casting that was Imperium, we had Tyra's playing the CP Vox, and he didn't go for the Dragon's Eye, and he just completely obliterated the enemy backlines with a Resonant Sonic Zoom and also with a Wait For It combo. He just completely destroyed them. So Dragon's Eye isn't an item you should always build on CP Vox. It just depends on the situation, and I think in this situation specifically, Broken Myth would have been completely better than Dragon's Eye.
I believe that was Techno JJ.
Was
playing.
it Techno JJ? Wasn't it?
I believe so.
Was it? Maybe it was.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. I might be wrong too. It's all good. But anyways, we are going to be just preparing the next game, guys, to jump into game number 2 of this BA3. If you did just join us, welcome to the European Champions Cup. I'm the host, Baxman, for today's stream, and I'm joined with Denominate on my left, I believe. Am I pointing in the right way? Maybe I am. I don't know. But anyways, and we did have the first game in this first BA3 of Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta, going over to the Oogie squad. And we're just ready to jump into game number 2. Do you expect anything specific coming out in this second game? Maybe any kind of maybe DVI is going to focus around the late game kind of rotation, and also maybe a draft. I don't know. What do you expect coming out here?
I definitely think they need to shift their draft a little bit more to the late game if they don't have the ability to really abuse an early game powerhouse like the Maylene. Again, the draft wasn't terrible. We just didn't get enough pressure early on. Again, I think a lot of that falls into Oogie Boogie just being the stronger team with their rotations. But we never saw that substantial lead like we'd like to see out of an early game comp. If they were struggling, they could have definitely switched up some of the builds, maybe focused for a little bit more of a mid-game oriented team fight. And then again, we have a Scarf come through without reliable stuns. Now, granted, the fish foods were absolutely phenomenal that game. They just weren't consistent enough. When they did stun Scarf, it was too late. The team was already dead. There's been no way to shut down Hegman so far. Joey Skaggs came through great, picked up a bunch of cleanup kills in the back of the team fights, dancing around the outskirts on the kinetic. And I think those are two of the big picks that you have to worry about here for the side of Oogie Boogie.
And definitely like something to shut down this Scarf. We were talking about it. I think we're a little bit praising one specific pick. There is Catherine. Like, she's got one of, if not the most reliable stun. So when you're dealing up against a Scarf, I think it's pretty interesting to go for Catherine in this kind of situation. She's not really that, like, focused in the meta right now. So it would be interesting to get her picked up because I think she's a pretty damn good counter into two good picks in 3.8. And that is Scarf and Anchor specifically. So maybe we'll see a Catherine come up. I wouldn't be surprised because when you're going up against Hegman on that Scarf pickup, it can be pretty good to shut down that ultimate because it is a game changer ability if you can pull it off right.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And we are getting ready to get into the draft for game 2 for you guys here, but we have to wait until we find some way to adequately balance these teams. But,
come on.
You know, definitely going to be a fun one looking forward. It does look like we have a substitution, though. We do have Leon out and Eerie 10 in. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the way Oogie Boogie play here for game 2.
Got a queue for private. Just got to wait a little bit, guys. Just trying to cancel and relaunch the draft. But yeah, we do have a switch for the side of Iggy. They will be switching out Leon for Eerie 10. Eerie 10 still pretty good player. If you do play a little bit of a Vainglory EU ranked in a high elo, you will be able to see Eerie 10 around every once in a while. And he, if given his very high priority picks, he can play it off pretty nicely. But once again, it is Leon that was switched out, so how they're going to be playing around it, I'm not too sure because I think Leon also does most of the shot calls when you're on the side of Oogie, so it'll be interesting to see how that's going to be working out for Oogie Boogie. As we do now enter the draft for game number 2, ready to go. Oogie's going to be onto the B side and A side. They're going over to Divine Vendetta, so maybe able to get a little bit more priority picks this point around Denominate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We have a very early Scarf ban there coming out of the side of DVI. And while I think this is great, it does target and pressure Hegman quite a bit. We've also seen him, when put in this situation, pull out the Celeste and not play any worse. I mean, again, the positioning for Hegman is just always pristine on these mages. The Churnwalker now off the table thanks to the side of Oogie. I'm interested to see where DVI go with this next one. I definitely think that if you're gonna try to ban away Hegman's hero pool, for what we've seen at least, they need to consider picking up the Celeste here very early on, which is also very risky because there's so many potent captain pickups that need to be done early on.
Yeah, they're gonna try to get a big focus on those captain pickups. Finn, Lorelei, Arden still on the board, and so is Anchor still available for pickup, and definitely a hero that you don't want to overlook because Anchor eats for breakfast any kind of backline characters that are pretty squishy, specifically, for example, you know, Kinetic, Silvernail, Celeste, Scarf, stuff like that. So you might want to be very cautious about it. And then I'm talking about it. DVI, their first pick will be indeed around this Anchor. But who will be playing the Anchor on their side? A lot of players could play on their side. I think it will be specifically around X-Dragon, Agony, and Joker on the players who will potentially play it. And well, they could also play in the mid lane, and if it is played in the mid lane, maybe Viking will play it, but it's going to be very specific. But though, Oogie Boogie, they do go for the Lorelei. Definitely do not give a Lorelei away if you have Keys on your team, because if Keys plays the Lorelei, I think in EU, he is one, if not the single best Lorelei player in the region. So he's got that up his sleeve, and he will switch it around. So Keys on Lorelei, pretty scary for DVI.
Yeah, it definitely appears to be the case. Hegman actually hovering over the Jewel here. That would be...
I'd like to see a Jewel.
Sorry. That would be fun to watch Hegman play some Jewel. Definitely would like to see if it goes down the weapon or the crystal route. I know a lot of people really like the crystal right now for some reason. I don't get it. I think weapon is just the better way to play Jewel right now.
Okay. Weapon Jewel fanboy. I see. It's all good.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but
CP Jewel's OP. Even Xenotech says it, man. It's completely OP. The damage output, like you can't just turn around and fight. I don't know.
You can also be very useless in a fight very quick, but you know, we've got a pretty strong draft for the side of DVI right now, though. We do have the Onco, the Kinetic, and the Arden get picked up. Celeste still on the board. Hegman has picked up that Silvernail, likely going to be going on to Joey Skaggs, as you talked about earlier. You know, this would be different if we saw a Black Feather, but maybe the Kensei is coming out here. Interested to see who that goes on. I was about to say, I think Ariel, but we'll see. And it is going to go on to Ariel.
And something I just saw, actually, I didn't pay attention. He did have a scarf getting banned away from Hangman. I just realized that.
First ban.
They're like, hell no, we're not dealing with it. So they just took it away. I do like that. But DVI, no, being smart, they've done their homework well. They've done their homework between game 1 and game 2. They just said, oh, it's true. There's Hangman against us. Ban that crap away. So they did do it right there. They did go for the Lance. I don't know what to really think of that pickup. It's decent against the Kensei, but I think this game is going to be relying a lot more around this Silvernail than the Kensei. And like, if they do want to try and deny that as fast as possible, I think here going for CP Lance would make him a lot more sense. I'm a big fanboy of CP Lance. I think it's completely underrated. So CP Lance it will be for me on the side of DVI, as we have draft now over, and they did go for the Baron. And I think this will be a CP Baron denominate, something I haven't seen, I believe, in the European Champions Cup so far.
We have not seen a CP Baron yet. It is very strong. It is also very easily overwhelmed in the mid lane, especially since we have a Lyra going on to the side of Oogie Boogie. That is going to be Hegman playing that as a crystal carry, likely in the mid lane. And the sustain is just going to be a lot higher for Hegman. It's going to be a lot easier for him to bully Viking early, and it's going to take some time for Viking to come online. Definitely do not want to see Weapon Baron here against this lineup, Ed. That'd be pretty risky.
I think that would be pretty dangerous to take. And also, like, their comp overall, I think it's pretty tanky. So I think, like, maybe this is just speculation. I know that not a lot of people do that, but maybe a Dragon's Eye CP Baron if they do decide to go for it. I don't know. Just trying out stuff. We've got to check it out. Anyways, you do see Viking did go for the crystal bit. So this kind of confirms for us they will be indeed going for this CP Baron in the mid lane also with the Book of Eulogies to get that nice little bit of sustain in the early game. But so far, like, both charts are pretty interesting. If I had to give an edge, I would give an edge here to DVI because they got a lot of priority picks on their side. But when you check out the other side of Iggy, they have this Lorelei pickup and also Hegman. Actually, when you think about it, in the mid lane, Lyra has 2 really big power spikes. One of her power spikes is when she hits level 2, level 3, because she is a huge lane bully, especially against Viking that doesn't have much defensive tools up his sleeve in the early game, so I have to be very cautious about that. But right now we have an invade on the Crystal Trin. They're going to try and take it away. Iggy going to be able to secure that CP buff. Iggy going to be getting out of there, and unfortunately that's going to be a flask out for Oreo anyways, but gets a buff up his sleeve, and that's going to be pretty nice for them. We do have a counter invade though coming up from X-Dragon and the Agony, but unfortunately going to be a little bit too slow, and that's going to be just a one-way invade going over to Oogie.
Yeah, it does look to be the case. Slight, ever so slight gold lead for the side of Oogie right now, only about a couple hundred gold, but it's still something. Started off early here. Hegman on the Lyra is going to be playing an interesting role here. Obviously, Lyra we typically see as the captain position. She does a massive amount of damage on those basic attacks through her arcane principle, that natural perk that she's got, so that second arcane missile can follow you as far away as you jump, Baron, and it's going to hurt a lot. So let's see how that they're able to work with that. Also, Hegman has a lot of ability to shut down the Anka and the Lance, who are going to be looking to dive into this fight. I mean, even the Ardent could essentially get blocked out of his gauntlet by a well-timed Bright Bulwark.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to pay very close attention to Hegman on that. So, like, I was interrupted earlier as we did have an invade, but like, I was talking about 2 power spikes on Hegman on this Lyra. So you got the early game, it's pretty good, and you see Viking already damn low in his mid lane, not able to do much against Hegman and Keys together. They got that really huge range. The Viking just can't really counter in any way, shape, or form, so you got to be very cautious. And then also the next power spike for Hegman is going to be when, and if he does, he might not, but when you go for a Dragon's Eye, it's going to be just so good. You can just poke with your A, so without too much of a hassle. You got that range. You got also the fact that you can be in a very safe position when you do spam your abilities. And Dragon's Eye, like when I played CP Lyra in the mid lane, like the mid game is like where she kind of dips a little bit. When you get that Dragon's Eye, and just wait to you just stack from afar and then engage. Like, man, it's just the damage is insane. So I think here they just got to try and put a big emphasis on shutting down Hegman in the early game, maybe ganking a lot more. We see another rotation on to this creepy CP buff. It will be taken away by Viking with a Porcupine Mortar just in time. Still 3 minutes in, and a gold lead pretty damn slim. So just a little bit of a repeat of what we had in game number 1 so far, Denominate.
Yeah, pretty even so far. I'm interested to see how Hegman ends up leveling his abilities if he's going to end up overdriving the alt or overdriving his Imperial Sigil and Bright Bulwark. Unfortunately for a carry Lyra, is all of them really offer a substantial amount of benefit. You get the extra range out of upgrading the Arcane Passage. You get the lower cooldown of upgrading the Bright Bulwark. I mean, there's just so many good options. I want to see where Hegman takes this build, and if he really tries to abuse that extra auto attack range, or if he's looking for more of that crowd control utility teammate.
Yeah, I'd like to see what's going to happen with that indeed. Right now, checking out Viking, and like now we do have Oswald around with him in the mid lane. But like so far, in a big part of this game, he's been actually quite lonely against Keys and Eggman. So maybe you want to try and protect Viking a lot more, because if he has a bad early game, and you know the late game is like where a CP Baron shines, I'm not sure if that's going to be really going to the advantage of DDI. So maybe just a little bit more of a focus on getting Viking ahead, as you have a rotation coming up from Iggy. Gets Kitchen walled right in the face. Big stop coming up from Oswald there, just in case. 4 minutes 30 seconds in, and a goal lead still not climbing whatsoever. So pretty slow game right now, Denominator. Not much going on, but I'm going to check out the builds, and it seems like Agony, with the itemization we going up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Irritate go for the Aftershock, Agony go for the Aftershock Clockwork itemization, because that's something that Leon does quite a lot. Like, also a lot of people do that kind of itemization. But if you can just time those Aftershock procs, you can be an absolute threat to the backline and also on the frontline tanks from the enemy team. And when you're dealing here with a Kensei, with a Grace, I think it would be quite interesting to go for that kind of build. We do have a gank from Oriel, not going to be able to get the killing blow on Agony. Was able to get his Mirage ultimate to get to safety, nicely executed.
Yeah, absolutely does look to be the case. Keys approaching level 6 on the Lorelei. That's a pretty big spike for a captain there. That water wall is so potent in team fights. You can take someone who's really absorbing a brunt of damage. You know, specifically looking at this, Anka is going to be looking to get in and try to just blow somebody off the map.
Iron Cannon. Oh, he got it! He got it! What a beast! Oh, Viking gets the weapon buff with that Iron Cannon. I thought they had information they was going to drop there, but apparently not.
No, and that was a pretty good steal coming out of Viking there. I mean, it might not be much, but any gold getting into his pockets right now is good. Last game and this game, through the early and mid phase of the game, Viking is maintaining a little bit better of a CS edge over Hegman. Actually, it's just evened out on that last wave. So we'll have to see if Hegman's able to get a lead. 2 Serpent's Masks picked up on the side of Iggy right now. We got one from Joey Skaggs and Ariel.
Ooh, they were trying to dive on through onto Viking. They will not be able to find any kills, unfortunately for them. Oswald pretty low. He will be backport into base right now, so 3-man in the mid for DVI. But still, like, you saw they were trying to get a focus down on him right there. Nice to engage. Dance off blade. So much damage right on top of Oriel there. He shouldn't be able to re-engage. He does have the Serpent Mask, as you were talking about right there, but does get the Divine Intervention, so he will be able to just sustain his way out of it anyways without too much of a hassle, and he should be able to look for more opportunities in the next minutes. 7 minutes in almost, and the goal lead still like pretty damn slim. I don't know, actually I can't count properly. No, 2k goal lead going over the way of DVI, so skimming a little bit more on the lead. Maybe the change of Leon wasn't to their advantage, you know, so got to try and be a little bit more, a little fast, I think, on those rotations for Iggy to try and get that gold up their sleeves.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. Viking has hit level 7, working on getting the mortars overdriven at level 8, I would assume. We'll have to see. He does jump jets over for this Crystal Treant. That's going to give Hegman an opportunity to start pushing up this wave, but X-Dragon is here. Agony is here, and we're actually seeing a full rotation coming from DBI. Gauntlet is available from Joker.
Alright, hold on. I'm just checking out stuff. Sorry, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty in the background. It's all good. Crystal Chin going to be focused down. Will it be stolen? It will be stolen away by Oswald. Not really the main focus you want the buff onto, but well, as long as you don't give it over to the enemy team, it's all good. I'm checking out the itemizations. Lost Oswald, he went for Geneviève's first item. I guess it's been already a few minutes he's actually had that item. I don't really get why he would go for Geneviève's first item. I think Crucible is a lot more of a focus, especially when you're dealing with a Keys on the Lorelei, also Oriel on the Kensei. They have so much potential to CC you down. I think Crucible would have been way more interesting. So if they do get focused down by any kind of CC, right now they are completely open to damage. So I think DVI just might want to be a little bit cautious at this point, because the CC chain can come out pretty fast, especially when you're dealing with a comp that has so much CC on Iggy Boogie's team. Then I'm looking for this bot lane turret. Eerie 10's going to be the one-man stand-in between them and that turret, but I don't believe he's going to be able to stop it. So that's going to be a second turret going the way of DVI.
Yeah, second turret for DVI is a huge lead for them here to have over the performance we've seen from them in Game 1. They've actually been capitalizing on a lot of their winning rotations. We see that we've been able to force that bottom wave up pretty substantially here early on. We're not even at the 9-minute mark yet, and they've got 2 of those turrets down. So definitely a bit of struggle down there in the bottom lane. Aerie has figured out, or finished out, rather, the War Treads, so gonna have that team-wide boost. A little bit help for the Kensei, I would say, is the best. Fortunately, that ult from Viking there in the mid lane goes a little bit wide.
Yeah, using his ult for the CSing there. Not like 70-second cooldown on the Iron Cannon. I don't think that's really what you want to use it for, especially when you only get 1 CS out of it. But well, it's all good. He'll get that in a few seconds.
I think he got 2. I think he got 2.
Oh, did he get 2 there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I
don't know. But still, like, even if it's 2, I don't think it's really worth it to use there. Now, see, like DVI, they're looking to go once again for an invade. The camps are respawning. Christian does indeed just respawn. Look, he's booting in. He's using those boots actually quite effectively. He's going to be able to secure the CP buff away. Mirage ult from Agony just on point to avoid the Holy Nova coming out from Eerie 10. Pretty nicely executed. Able to just get in, get out, and Viking gets the buff. That's what you're looking for. 10 minutes in. Goldie now to a 4k, almost 5k lead. Going the way of Divine Vendetta. So far it seems they have a pretty consequential lead. Would you have another turret going over the way of the Joke in the top lane? Able to take it 1v2, even though Joyce Gags was just rotating his way around that one. Still, like, they're having this map advantage. They have this map potential for engaged and team fights. So DVI, if they're looking for fights in the near future, they're going to be the ones having the most advantage overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Keys trying to maintain some of that CS there in the mid lane. Oh man, Ariel.
That dodge.
Yeah, Ariel, bit of damage down onto Viking there. Oh no, here comes Joker for Keys.
He's looking for it. Unfortunately, he did use the Vanguard and the Blood for Blood. Cannot close the gap anymore. He's trying to reset the cooldown on it. He's looking for the re-engage onto Keys. Can he get it though? Yes, he can. And Keys will be normally going down. Yes, that's going to be the water wall not being enough. First blood. 11 minutes in, Denominator. I think that's the latest first blood I've seen in Vainglory European Champions Cup so far. Gonna try and get.
Feels like Europe all over again.
Wow. Okay. NA comments. I will ignore that right now. Okay.
Oh man.
Oh, Arcane Passage in. They're looking for the Arden. Will be the casualty in that fight. Oriel, if he gets out, that'd be huge. Oh, the Divine Intervention B will be dropping to the Mirage ultimate of the Anchor. Agony. What a beast on this Anchor. Like, definitely a pick that you want to be very cautious about. You will be able to pick up 2 in a few quick sweeps. Here, 10 and Oriel. They've got to be a little bit more cautious there. They will dive in almost on the turret, so they're a little bit of a mistake in my books.
Yeah, a little bit here. I'm looking over at the builds, and Hegman has opted to go down the Spellfires first. And I'm not sure I'm in love with that on the Lyra, but we'll have to see how it plays out in the rest of the game. Arcane Passage is unable to find a kill on the Viking, but able to get into position to clean up some of the CS, hopefully in the lane that Hegman is missing a lot of CS in the lane. Okay.
Yeah,
Crystal Tree at...
Oh, wait. Agony. Agony doesn't have his Mirage anymore. He's going to try and make his way out of that one, but I think that's going to be, unfortunately, with a little amount of success there, he's not going to be able to survive that engage. Arcane Passage in right on top of this Kinetics. You will be able to get the Vanguard out from Joker, nicely rotated. Now it's Viking and also Oswaldos. They're going to be rotating their way through, and the health bar on the side of Iggy Boogie are pretty damn low. Does have the Journey Boots, so I think he can look for the engage. Pair will be connecting out. The Giffen will also. And look at those Porcupine Mortars in a little bit of work. They're able to zone them away. But Oriel, he's looking to re-engage, and he's dipped. Right away, he's just saying, oh, nope, no. Not ready to commit to that point. Giffen will on top of Keith. Impaled followed up. He does have the Water Ball. He does get the Crucible. Divine Intervention just in case on Keith with a 650 heal. Will be able to keep him afloat, at least for now. As Anchor is respawned, she is coming around. Ghostwing is on the board, so maybe the next focus for the next winner of the upcoming team fight. Both teams looking for a little bit of poke damage, not able to find as much as they would expect though.
No, we've definitely got a lot of effort coming out from the Baron.
Oh, Arcane Passage, what a beast,
Hegman!
No! Oh no! Oh damn, that was close. That actually scared me a little bit.
Oh, They
Oh.
funneled right back into that. Unfortunately, nobody drops. Nobody able to be capitalized on in the back of that. DVI, they've been doing an excellent job this game. They're maintaining a much bigger lead now. We're sitting at 5,000 gold lead. Baron has gone down the Dragon's Eye. You mentioned that at the beginning, that it's maybe a little bit different of a path than Baron that we'd like to see, but it may be able to work out in this game because, unfortunately for Iggy, they're just not able to be as aggressive onto the Baron as they would probably like to be. And that's giving him a lot of free reign over these fights where he's able to build stacks up. Right now, sitting at 4. Probably about to start dropping off, though. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, I think Iggy there doing a bit of a mistake, trying to force a fight when they have a few of their members low HP. Engage round to the top of Joyce. Gas Crucible going to be used up to stop the gifting wall coming out from this Lance. And now that's going to be Lance, the first casualty of this skirmish. Did you lose the Silver Nail, though, on the side of Iggy Boogie? Unfortunately, Joyce Gas not surviving. Divine... Oh, no, not Divine Intervention. Sorry, I mean... Iron Cannon raining on through. They will be able to find the kill onto the Kensei and the Grace. Now, Keys, he's going to try and make his way out of that one. But Hegman going to be the focus from this Anchor. Going to try and turn it around, but it will be a triple kill for your boy Agony. What a beast on this Anchor. Just once again, a hero that made it through draft. In my opinion, you don't want to see such a hero make it through the draft phase.
No, and you definitely don't want to click on that hero when they get through the draft phase too, but it's going to be another fight going over to DVI. They're now starting up this Ghost Swing, and I think this is smart. They have 3 very healthy members alive. They know that the side of Iggy are just now coming up. It's a free objective for them to take. It's a free jungle rotation for them to take. And this is a coordination coming from DVI that I would say we have not seen yet this tournament. I think this is some of the best Vainglory that these guys have played so far this tournament, and I'm glad to see them pulling it together here. The rotations look a lot more crisp, and man, Agony, as you mentioned, on this Anka is just what an amazing performance he's having. He's getting into the back line, getting the executions down as he should.
Ooh, Oriel going to be a little bit caught out.
Make it out.
Yeah, going to be able to dash his way out of that one, though. Not too much of a problem. It would have been a 4v5 engage because Anchor wasn't around. Agony wasn't ready to engage at that point. So if they did turn it around, it would have been a nice situation to be in, if you will, on the side of Iggy, but that will not be the case. They're trying to be a little bit sneaky on this one, I would say. They do get the vision down. Joker will be able to clear it away. They're trying to get vision. Oh, War Treads in. Hegman. Look at that Crucible reflex time, but absolutely huge. Nicely executed. Agony's going to be diving on through that Dance of Blade. Damage gets the Divine Intervention. He will be dropping normally 1v2. Not. Oh, the Iron Cannon connects right on top of him. Unfortunate timing still. Man, Viking, he's doing a lot of work there. And he was like 8 stacks on the Dragon's Eye when he put that Iron Cannon down. So the damage was just a little bit too much, especially when you're Lara with no defense. So still Viking being a huge threat, and I think Pete Slam would be proud.
Definitely would have to say that as well. As we have a Black Claw getting taken now by the side of DVI, it's going to allow them to start pushing up this mid lane. There's no Scarf to kind of prevent the push the way that the side of Oogie Boogie had in game 1. And the opposite is true now because we have this Baron who's getting to the point that he's incredibly stacked up. He's very far ahead of Hegman right now as far as CS and build goes. And it's not looking good for Oogie.
Iron Cannon going to be coming down. Can he get a hit? No, he cannot. He will be trying to just get stacks on his Dragon's Eye. Unfortunately, just a little bit short on his range. Not going to be able to find any extra damage output. But that's going to be a Black Claw mid HP hammering down on the choke point mid lane turret. So they just will be letting that one slip its way away. And I think that's a smart decision, also knowing that they didn't have Agony around with them. There's the one that's pretty much solo-handedly carrying this game at this point, like especially to try and take down Hegman. It's going to be a huge winning opportunity for them. So, like 4v5, maybe don't look for that situation. We are almost 18 minutes into the game. 10-5 going the way of DVI. A goal lead has been a little bit reduced over the course of the few minutes. So you can see that Iggy, they're trying to come back in this game. They did get the gold out from taking down the Black Claw too, so they will be able to reduce that gold gap just a little bit. But now we have a fight opportunity coming pretty soon, and DVI pretty split around the rise. So might want to try and reposition before committing and engaging, which they're doing right now. Hegman though, he's pretty far on the front line, and I'm a little bit scared because he could get dived pretty heavily if he's not cautious enough.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we've got the Ghost Swing spawning back on the map. Turret destroyed by Kensei there in the mid. Well, all of Oogie. And now they're on the run. That was an unfortunate recall timing there. No block.
Block.
That's not...
Oh
that's
no,
not looking
feels
good for
bad,
Joey.
man. Oh, they started backporting, but not all at the same time, so that's going to be a one member down, and they have now a 45 opportunity. You would be a fool to not go for ghosting at this point in time, Denominate, so they will be fixing it down pretty fast. That's going to be secured by DVI. They're looking to try and re-engage. I think this is definitely an opportunity that you can try and take for yourself. But I think Agony, once again, like, you've been pretty deep on the front line. Might want to be wait a little bit, you know, just be a little bit more cautious as we do get almost in the 20-minute game lifespan. And I don't know what to think, man. Like, this is still anybody's game, but right now DVI looking pretty dominant because they got such a big gold lead, 8,000 gold lead, and it's just gonna be pretty hard to claim back this game if you're on the side of Iggy. Once again, they split away. Hegman, once again, just way too far away from his team. He does get the Mortal Wound proc down from the Spellfire. Will be able to survive it, though. Agony's engaging 1v1. Now it's going to be also followed up with Joker. Does get the gauntlet. Going to be able to split him away from his main focus. Agony on the edge, laughing his ass off. Able to get away from that. Agony does get the flask, does get the block just in case. Joker, he's pretty tanky. He's just able to soak up quite a bit. But now this is the opportunity for Iggy to turn this fight around. But the stacks on Viking are building up on the Dragon side. They did lose the Arden. X-Dragon trying to stack up. He is 12 stacks on his breaking point. Just not able to close the range as much as he's looking for. But, oh, that damage between Viking and X-Dragon just able to close that fight up. And now they have the advantage. They can pick a 4-on-4 against the side of Iggy. But it seems like they just let that one slip away. Maybe just a little bit of poke coming out from Viking. But still no turret falling down quite yet.
None but the bottom turret as it was taken by the Winions down there.
Oh, yeah.
Hegman made a strong attempt to get there, unable to do so. Joey Skaggs doing his best to fend off this mid turret. I think they're gonna save that one, but man, that's a pretty big bit of comfort going over to DVI. Los Osvaldos, he's in a interestingly aggressive spot here for the fact that his team is so spread out, I guess is where I'm getting at here, but all is well as they're going to go ahead and start regrouping. 12-6 on the scoreboard, 5,000 gold lead for the side of DVI. Bunch of sign of life in that last fight by the side of Oogie. We just got to be able to see them close out a little bit better. Viking was left uncontested on that back line. As you mentioned, reaching 12 Dragon's Eye stacks at one point during that fight. And they don't have anybody that can really contest the range. It's similar to how the Scarf played out in Game 1 for Hegman. Viking has nobody actually contesting him on what he's able to do. The damage output isn't there, but this fight is about to be.
Man, also he's pretty far on the front line there. Going to try and stack up a little bit on that Dragon's Eye. Unfortunately, once again, the range not going to be going to the advantage of Viking. Not going to be hitting any Porcupine Mortars. He's trying though. Gets one there. Now the stack. This is maybe an opportunity for them. Oswald, he's been sneaky. He's coming around, jumping in with his boost. Getting a 2-man stun on that Getting Wall. That's going to be the Kensei diving on through. Just going to be jumping out there right away. And Anchor going to be the main focus of that fight. Diving once again very, very deep away from team. He will be the first casualty of that fight. The Dragon's Eye, though, are slowly climbing up for Viking, but he's not able to keep them up at a sustained rate. Arcane Passage on through. Oh, the Bulwark was almost able to close the gap on Viking, but he just dashes and slips his way out of that one. So just turning it out. Viking, though, he's low on energy. If they see that, they could try and dive. Iron Cannon going to be missing out completely the mark. And this is Lance out of position. Benediction going to get a little bit of a slow. Will be Crucibled out, though. And that's going to be Lyra. What are you doing, Eggman? Get them all going to be getting a nice stun on Oriel. They're going to try and stack it up. Viking, he does get his energy back. And look at that damage. 7 stacks on his Dragon's Eye. What a beast. But now he's low on energy. He's low on HP. So he's going to run out of that one. Joker, pretty low. So Oswald, maybe they can pick a 3v2. Going to try and run his way out of that one. Agony does get the blade out. He's going to get... Oh, that Holy Nova timing. Nice synergy on the side of DVI, but of Oogie Boogie, unfortunately. Will that be enough? Iron Cannon raining on through. Going to be getting a little bit of chip damage. Just proc down the Mortal Wound, but Blood for Blood will be the killing blow. And the salute for your boy Hegman. For your boy Harry 10, sorry.
Yeah, and I don't know what the call from Hegman was there in that Arcane Passage. He was pretty low on health. It didn't seem like the team was ready to go. These Winions need to be cleared out. Hegman trying to save that armory. Oh man, this is a side of Oogie that we haven't got to see yet. They've been so just confidently demanding in all of their games that it's interesting to see them play on a little bit of the back foot here. And I think they're doing a great job. Again, this is still anybody's game. We're 23 minutes in. We're getting to the point that a single death can really swing the tide of the game. especially since the turrets are getting more and more limited on each side. Obviously, we have that armory exposed on the side of Iggy for the mid and the bottom lanes.
Yeah, right now the turret's going down pretty fast on both sides. Checking out Vikings build. Seems like he's trying to get a focus on energy right now. He's just having a hard time just sustaining it out. And I think with Samuel, CP Baron is like one of the most energy hungry heroes. So you got to like keep that energy itemization pretty focused down. Otherwise you're going to have a hard time just dashing out your damage for like an even amount of time. So he's trying to get like his item. Maybe he'll go for an Eve of Harvest, you know. I think that would be a pretty good item to go for, but it seems like he might be going for Clockwork, and that I think that's what Joker will be going for in this kind of situation. Though maybe be a little bit cautious here. Like you can have members called out, so I think the just got to try and stick together. And also one big thing, Hegman is going to ham on the front line. He's just diving on through, like he doesn't give a damn of what the hell's going on. So I think maybe Hegman has to give a little bit more respect to the enemy team. He's got no defense, so if he dives on his own, he's going to get shut down pretty easily. So I want to see Hegman just stick into his team just a little bit more to look for these fully pledged team fights.
Yeah, absolutely huge damage coming out of those Porcupine Mortars.
Getting Morgan a 3-man stun down onto Iggy. They're going to try and take the Black Wall though, but I think they're trying to bait out a team fight, trying to pull off a C9. Can they do it though? I'm not too sure. Seems like Iggy, they're just not ready to commit to that. So they'll just let that one slip its way away. Now the CP buff gets taken away once again by Viking. He's going to shop now. I want to see what he's going to buy for himself. He has quite a bit of gold. He is slowly going his way for Slumbering Husk. It does actually seem like he did go for the Mage's War Mail. So he should be able to go for that as soon as possible. Going to give him quite a bit of an advantage to sustain and also be able to dash out more of those Dragon's Eye stacks and sustain his damage just a little bit more. Blackwall going to be focused down successfully this time by the Iggy Boogie team. And Cannon raining on through. Can he get still? No, he will not, but we'll just get some nice, sweet damage on the main team. Can stay Sakura in the Blackwall for their side as Oriel gets free damage on top of Joy Skag. Trying to make his way out. That, on X-Dragon, sorry. That's going to be the water wall. Going to get on top of the Kensei. That's going to be also Joker just very deep in that fight. Pretty lonely as Agony's going to be teleporting his way all around the map. Hangman, unfortunately, going to be able to find that kill on way too lonely Arden. Oh, I didn't see that, man.
Oh, the scout cam there. Perfect. Ario is able to come over, pick up that kill onto Anka. Put a 10th kill on the board. They were able to get the Black Claw, and now they are pushed in. Yeah, it's looking rough for DVI right now. They have a pretty long death timer on Anka, who's really kind of almost that hyper carry, sitting here 6-4-4. But that's going to be a good choice from the side of Oogie there. They go ahead and back off. Black Claw might even get that armory by himself. It will, and now that's going to be pretty helpful for the side of Oogie. Hopefully they can clear out this bottom wave before they lose their armory. It looks like Hegman's here to do so. They should be fine.
Yeah, there should be indeed. Okay, not going to be able to save that armory though, so that's going to be giving a buff to the minions. Going to be able to apply just a little bit of extra pressure through the mid lane, so that's something the Vikings going to have to put his focus on, just to not allow any kind of backdoors from the team of Oogie Boogie. The ghosting though is up, but the vision was put down by the Oogie squad, so just wouldn't be able to take a sneaky ghosting at this point, unfortunately. We are 26 minutes and 50 seconds into the game, so Blackwall is enraged. So it's going to be dashing out a lot more damage output now. So just got to be a lot more focused around that kind of objective in the near future. Still, we do not have Viking on his Slumbering Husk yet. Wasn't able to take it down. And I think he's put a big more focus down on energy because once again, he falls out of energy pretty fast. Hegman also, he did go for the Clockwork Broken Myth. I don't know what he's going to go for in next item. I think maybe a Dragon's Eye would make the cut for them. But just going to have to check out what he does decide and commit to. As might
actually be the longest I've ever seen a Baron go without a Clockwork. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
well, it is kind of an unusual build, so maybe I'll go for like just an Eve of Harvest, as I said. Or Hegman, he's going to be completely caught out once again, a little bit too far in his lane. That's going to be Arden, way too deep. He's going to get focused down, does get the gauntlet, a little bit of CC onto the enemy team, going to try and peel away, but that will not be the case, as Hagany going to be the one getting focused down entirely by Ugi's team. Damage output from Hangman pretty on point. Just going to try to keep safe this time around. But now, oh no! Oh no, he gets the engage. He finds out the Arden. He tries and get the basic attack. He does get the block. Oh, that was pretty sweaty. I would have sweat so hard if I was Joker right there. And he will be able to make his way out. But that is the opportunity for Iggy Boogie to come back in this game. They're getting weapon tune. They could go potentially for Ghost Ring. Right now, it is also, again, a two-man Impale Githing Wall wombo combo as they do have the Iron Cannon raining on through on top of the Silver Nail. And this is, once again, going to be turned around. And DVI this time have the opportunity to go for a free Ghost Ring as we do have Joyskax backing off to base.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We're finishing up builds pretty much across the board here, sitting on just like an item or two left for everybody. Looking to see if Los Oswaldos does go into that Atlas Pauldron to try to slow down what Kensei and Silvernail are able to do, or if he's just going to go for the raw tankiness of that Metal Jacket. Ariel has really been what's holding Oogie in this game. This Kensei play is actually pretty outrageous. He's got himself double buffed. He's got himself that weapon infusion as well. And he's just found himself in and out of sticky situations, constantly using that Lotus Strike to both deal damage as well as dodge out on some of the mortars coming in from this Baron.
Yeah, definitely. He's been doing quite a bit for his team. He's run out 6-2 and 3. Breaking Point, Serpent Mask, and the Bone Saw. So, like, the usual kind of itemization you can expect from a Kensei. And he gets high on stacks. I haven't mentioned that, but he gets pretty high on stacks in those team fights. The team fights do last quite a long amount of time, Denominate. And he gets, like, to 25 stacks in just a few seconds.
Oh, this is interesting.
Can go even higher, but right now, yeah, it is interesting because Blacklaw and Ghost Ring are up and available. Blacklaw going to be the focus of the DVI team, and then Oogie Boogie going to be going for this Ghost Ring. Blacklaw going to be secured first. Iron Cannon going to be ready on 3, going to be on time. No, it will not be the case. As also are going to be finding himself in quite a bad spot. Going to be the main focus on Oriel, just stacking up already 12 stacks just on Los Oswaldos. And that's why I think, like you said, should he go for Metal Jacket or an Atlas? I think Atlas Pauldron would make a lot more sense. But this is an enraged Blacklaw running on through the enemy base. And we still have DVI looking for the second armory, able to secure the mid one. Now the bot one for themselves. They do get the Atlas Pauldron applied on the kinetic, trying to focus down the Vein Crystal. Can I get it? Yes, they can! DVI bring it back to a 1-to-1 situation. A very close game so far, Denominate.
Yeah, I kind of thought in the end that was going to be Oogie, but unfortunately there just was nobody that could counter the range that Baron had. Oogie, I don't think they went aggressive enough onto the Baron. And it really just gave Viking a lot of freedom in that game. I mean, he was never really contested. Ariel spent a lot of time building up stacks on the Lance and just trying to get that burst damage to get to the back line. But I think it just took him a little bit too long. The Arden, the Joker, went pretty offensive as opposed to what we normally see. And I just think that little bit of extra damage on the backline that DVI brought to the table really forced Oogie out in a lot of phases of the game that I thought Oogie was going to win out.
I also think that Hegman should have stayed just a little bit more defensive on his positioning, but still, nice game coming out from the side of Divine Vendetta. It is a 1-to-1 situation, as we are going to be ready to jump into the third. Like, this is the no, this is not the third game. This is the second, I believe, because we did have. Wait, let me check it out. We did have another game. There was a third game. It was Jade Lightning EU. There was on December the 2nd. It was Jade Lightning EU versus Fairy Tail, and Jade Lightning won 2-1 in that game. So it is the third, the second third game that we're going to be having in this European Champions Cup. Once again, welcome guys if you are new to the stream. This is the European Champions Cup hosted by me, Maxman, and my fellow friend and caster Denominate. So far in this first game of Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta, it is a 1-to-1 situation. So the next game will be the ending game. The one that takes the next one will be going home with a victory today on this Sunday. And just going to be getting prepared for the third and last game, guys. And we will have then after that another BO3 and we will be a little bit late, actually, for the second BO3, so let's just hope we get a 15-minute short game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I do need an invite back to the party, though, Matt.
Oh, it says you're in game. That's weird. Okay, we'll just re-invite. So, in terms of draft, it's been pretty different of what we've seen between Game 1 and Game 2. So, I don't know, like, they banned away the Scarf, and that showed to be very successful for them. Like, you could see Hegeman not having anywhere as much success as you would have expected from him on this CP Lara in the mid lane compared to his Scarf. So I think DVI definitely are holding something pretty well. But once again, they did have Leon in that first game that was changed out by Eerie 10. So I think that was still a big change when on the side of Oogie Boogie. So we're going to have to see how that's going to be enough for them. I did switch around the teams. Did I do any mistakes with the team swaps? I don't... oh, yeah, I did do a mistake. Wait a minute. Wait, who did I switch around? I don't remember who I must switch around. Wait. Who's who? I just got to recreate the. Okay, I was
Good job, Max.
Okay, man, I messed it up. Okay, I mixed up everyone. I didn't want to do that. But yeah, what do you expect to come out in the draft here?
I definitely like the Kensei on the side of Oogie. I think Oriel played it absolutely exceptional that game. I don't think I'm in love with the Lyra pickup as opposed to the Celeste, which we've seen Hegman flex into and play perfectly fine. Like, they took the scarf away. That's all great. I think he was a little worried about the Anka and wanted that additional defense in the Bright Bulwark. But in the grand scheme of things, that Bulwark is a fairly long cooldown, as opposed to Anka's abilities very, very short. So all it took was a couple seconds, let that Bright Bulwark drop, and then Anka was able to come through and dish out the damage. And that's really gonna be one of the priorities, is not letting that Anka go through.
Oh man, oh wait, what? Man, the game is bugging around, like switching out players that I don't ask to switch around. What are you doing, Vainglory? Buttery smooth. Teams are not good. Yeah, I know. It's bugged. I don't know what the hell's going on. I might have to recreate the party if it's going like this. This should be fine in terms of party creation. But wait, why is it doing this? Oh my god, exit practice. Okay. Like, Vainglory's just switching around players randomly, and I don't like this. So I'll just let you keep going on. I'm just going to try and fix this. 2 seconds. Game. Oh my god. Okay, so Uri 10. Okay, now we can go. Go.
Yeah, looks good to go now.
Seem
Hopefully
like
we
both
don't have
teams. Okay.
long matchmaking, but we'll see.
Damn, that took way too long to start a game. Okay, jumping back into the draft. Boys and girls, once again, if you did just join us, welcome to the European Champions Cup. So far, we are into the first game of today. That is Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta. So far in this BO3, it is a 1-to-1 situation. So the winner of the upcoming game will be the first finalist, actually, of the European Champions Cup. This is the semi-finals we are doing today. So then we'll have the final phase next weekend over the span of 2 days. And then the upcoming game that was supposed to happen in like 10 minutes, but we're going to be late on that one, unfortunately, because this game has been going on for quite a long amount of time. It will be Sly versus Potato Pedal. So still a lot of action left for us guys in the European competitive action scene. And still having trouble to actually start the draft here. Come on, game. SCMC are failing us right now. Come on. Well, they have to happen on live, of course. When you're in normal games, it's all good, but man, come on. Come on, restart the draft. Yes, that's what we want. Sorry, guys, for the delay once again. It's not our fault. We would like it to be buttery smooth, but we can't. We're just ready to go. Anyways, fine. Okay, I was just about to re-engage on another subject, but now we are finally into the draft denominate, ready to go at it for this third and last game of this BO3 of DVI versus Oogie Boogie. Oogie gonna be able to get back this 8-side spot, so gonna have that priority pickup for their side. Lorelei, Finn, Chumwalker, Arden, Anchor, you know it. Those are going to be the main focus for both of these teams. And also Reza, I forgot to mention, they do go for first band that will be the Yates.
Yeah, it does look to be a captain taken off early, which is what we see a majority here in Europe, as well as the Reza and the Anka are highly contested as well. We see the Yates off. The Churnwalker looks to be the next on the chopping block. And I'm interested to see if DVI take away the Anka on their second ban, and just not wanting to give it to the side of Oogie at this point. It would be, I guess, a rough first pick, but having it at all is scary enough. And there it is, the Anka off the board early on.
Yeah, the Anka going to be banned away. Scarf, though, being open. You know, if Hegman's like, oh, I don't want to play Lyra again, I want to go for the Scarf, that he can definitely do so. It seems like Lorelei will be the first pickup that might be normally going over once again to Keys. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, denominator. So they will be indeed committing and going for the first pick of Lorelei. Still Finn open, but we do know that Finn has a hard time dealing with the Lorelei specifically because of the slows of that splashdown. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do not commit and go for the Finn pickup. Although Scarf, as I said, it is open. So DVI, if you're in that kind of situation, I think you want to try and pick it away from Hingman, and they will do so. Very smart drafting coming out from DVI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's smart for them to pressure Hegman. We definitely have seen him comfortable on the Scarf and the Celeste. Lyra definitely didn't feel like one of his comforts, though, so I have to see where they go with this. The Celeste is actually very good at matching the range and damage capability of a Scarf. While you do lose out on that raw piercing damage, combining the Broken Myth with the Dragon's Fire, but you don't have to hit that front line with your Heliogenesis. You can really do a lot of zoning potential with the Celeste. It's going to be a kinetic picked up, again, likely going on to Joey Skaggs. It's going to be interesting to see where DVI go at this point. We have the Silver Nail on board, but they're going to go with the Idris.
There will be indeed going for the Idris Denominate, and I do really like the fact that they went for the Idris here. It also hasn't been picked up so far in this BO3, so not really surprised to see it at least come out in today's matches. Idris, I think, I wouldn't be really surprised if it does go for a hybrid. Idris here would make a lot of sense, especially because you got a pretty tanky front line coming out on the side of Oogie Boogie, so you can get the Dragon's Eye stacks pretty fast, especially on the Hegeman. It looks like they want to commit to a Kensei once again. They were dealing with the Kensei earlier, wasn't able to play it to great success, unfortunately. They look like they might be wanting to go for that, but they will probably go for the Celeste. They do have the soft lock. We were talking about how good Hegeman is on the Scarf and the Celeste specific pickups. So they will commit, take it away, and they will switch it around. So Hegeman will be playing a Celeste this game. This is a lot more scarier than seeing him on the CP Lara, so be careful, DVI. You are warned.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's smart that they've gone with the Celeste this route instead of trying to pull something off like the Lyra. It was just a little bit too off meta. Didn't really offer any aggression towards the Baron. Unfortunately, the Arcane Passages didn't come down with the Bright Bulwark in time to prevent Baron from jumping away. He was never in the kill zone. So I'm glad they've gone the Celeste. They also have a very tanky front line for the Celeste as well in the Lance and the Grace. It was Samuel. We haven't seen Samuel in a while.
Yeah, some are going to be picked up. I do really enjoy that. Against this comp, I believe it's going to be... you see this played up quite a bit, but I believe this is going to be a Jungle Samuel. So you go for Frostburn, followed up with a Spellfire to bring just a little bit more utility and have mid-game ganks having a lot more effect overall. So I do really enjoy the fact that they're going for the Samuel here. Is it the best pickup? I don't really believe so, but it can definitely have a lot of impact because you're going to be getting a lot of slow coming out from Keys and CC from Oriel and that Lorelei and Lance pickup. So you have something to try and apply some kind of slow to try and peel away. So I do like the fact that Agony did go for this, once again, potentially Jungle Samuel, but I think it's like pretty much set in stone at this point. Denominator, we're going to be having Jungle Samuel in this game.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. And Samuel is one that we haven't really seen in a while either. He was really the backbone of the meta for a while, and then just kind of disappeared. Yeah, just disappeared as other and I don't think it's because Samuel became any less strong. I think it's because everything around him just became a little bit more viable.
It's just that he's still as good, but he's just, unfortunately, they're just characters that could do just way more and way better things than the Samuel. So that's maybe why people don't focus him as much. But if you draft around it properly and can play around his power spikes, you definitely have an opportunity to, turn around team fights on your own, especially if you do go for Dragon's Eye kind of itemization. When you get like to 5, 10 Dragon's Eye stacks, the damage output is just insane. And his damage is AoE. So if you just stick together against him, you're going to have a hard time actually dealing with that. But right now, we are 1 minute in. No jungle invades coming up on both sides, so pretty passive early on. We did have last game, like a first blood that came up at like 11 minutes, I believe, Denominate. So I hope that's not going to be the case. I want a little bit of action. I am play-by-play. Give me stuff to talk about, please. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Los Oswaldos on the Lyra, going to be able to help sustain here in the mid lane. And that's one of the bigger parts of what Lyra really brings to the table, especially when she's in that captain position. One thing that that we struggled with in game one was, Hegman was the Lyra. He was the one responsible for both healing himself and his allies in the early stages of that game. He never really had that chance to just fully focus on the on his CS. This time around, he's on the Celeste. Ooh, Keys. Oh,
He's having a bad time right there. Does have his flask, so he was just playing around at that point. Does have the flask, will be able to get out if he needs to. Viking Lon Energy, he's going to be a extended. Maybe Arden can rotate around. Come on, Arden, Joker, you saw it. He can go in with a blood for blood, but no. He will not be doing so. Just get a little bit of poke down onto Hegman, but unfortunately no kills whatsoever in this early game. 2 minutes in. Goal lead, you're like grinding up to a 1,000 gold lead the way of Divan Vendetta. So far it's a little bit of a repeat of what we had in game number 2 in terms of gold lead. And I expect this time when you're on the side of Oogie Boogie, I want them to try and respond to these this early goal lead as fast as possible. They didn't do that in game number 2, so this time they have the comp to do so, and I want to see an Oogie Boogie team just being a lot more effective in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. Viking is going to be on the Scarf, which is, you know, again, the pick that we see Hegman on a lot. He had an excellent performance on the Crystal Power Baron last game. Excited to see how that transitions over. He's got a little additional range on his basic abilities. He's got that incredible Pierce coming through when he gets that Broken Myth online. Agony, obviously, on the Samuel is going to have some pretty interesting rotations. And there's actually a pretty decent amount of frontline splash that he's going to be able to get between the Grace and the Lance. So I'm excited to see if he's able to make this pick work. We've seen Agony in the past in Vainglory 3v3 on the Samuel, and it's actually one of his better picks in my opinion. So hopefully that is still true today.
Yeah, I don't think you could forget your mechanics on Samuel. Is a pretty straightforward kind of hero, so it would be interesting to see how he's going to be able to work his way around that one. But he's got 4 crystal bits. He's looking thick in this early game. He wants that damage output, but they did nerf that over the course of the last few updates. They did nerf the early damage output from Weapon Blade and the Crystal Bit, just so you can't stack those items as easily and just can't like be a huge threat in the early game. But no, we did have a nice core collapse coming down, and a lot of CS going the way of Hegman. Right there, he has 25 CS when you check out. Also, Viking, he's 38 CS, so well, he's already 15 CS ahead at this point, and pretty scary when you're dealing with the Scarf that is, like, you can apply a lot of pressure early game. You just got to be a little bit cautious, but yeah, Agony going to be having to be a little bit careful up there, but he's going to be able to push him away. Will be a backport from Irritant in the top lane, so he will be letting his lane open for damage, and he will be able to find it X-Dragon and Agony, securing the first turret of this game, going over to DVI.
Yeah, first turret to DVI, and that's really what we need to see out of these guys, is they need to push their aggression when they have the opportunity. They've got a weapon buff here on X-Dragon, and they might be able to pick up a kill here onto Grace.
Ooh, no. Oh, no, oh, that turret shot! Oh, man, Agony getting a little bit of a response coming out from that turret, actually, so just got to be a little bit cautious. Irritant will be surviving another day. There we do have in the bot lane Oriel, and also Joyskag's pushing down on that turret. Los Oswaldo's going to try and rotate around, but will not be able to find any kind of angle to engage that, so he will just let that one go away. 5 minutes into the game, goal lead going up to a 2,000 goal lead the way of Divine Vendetta. Still, so far, no kind of a hard response coming out from the players of the Oogie Boogie team. So unfortunately, they're giving quite a big lead over that. I don't think you want to do, especially when you're going to be playing against an Idris that just scales from start to finish, and he's going to be really scary to deal with. Hello? Okay, so we do have Arden now. He did go for the minion candy, so he's going to try to maybe push just a little bit more on his top lane position, just going to try to push back members of Oogie Boogie, and it seems like you're back, you just could... Okay, seems like we're losing a little bit our boy. We'll just let him on a little break right now. He's all good, a coffee break. Even though he's not I'm the British one, and he's the one having those coffee breaks a lot more than me. Pretty weird. X-Dragon, Agony.
That was a coughing break. Coughing.
Oh, okay.
Break.
Yeah, okay. I see what you did there. Okay. Okay, I won't comment.
Yeah,
but we'll just talk after the stream, okay? We'll just have a little talk.
Gotcha. Ariel here on the Lance does seem to be going down a little bit of a crystal route here, maybe into an Aftershock. You know, you were talking earlier, you think the Crystal Lance is a little bit underrated, so we'll have to see how it ends up working out here. I do think it'll be great for shutting down the some of these evasive carries that the side of DVI have. You know, like the Idris, who's going down the Crystal route, Samuel, who really wants to use that...
He's trying to get Hegman to teleport back, but he did use the Bulwark to kind of stop Hegman from teleporting back in the Arcane Passage, so that was a little bit of an unfortunate timing coming out from Los Oswaldos. Los Oswaldos, once again, man, Los Oswaldos, he loved those tier 3 boots, man. He absolutely loves them. He went for Journey Boots, not Journey Boots, I mean, House and Charger's first items. Earlier was on Lance, he went for the Journey Boots first item, so he definitely loves that extra move speed. Also, talking about boots and move speed, next update they will be doing a general buff around boots. They will be getting a nice buff of extra move speed. It's actually quite impactful. I think it's like 0.2 overall. So man, you're just going to be seeing people just whizzing around the map in the next patch, as Hegman going to be a little bit engaged on. Spitfire will not be connecting. Gonna bet the Oblivion. Gonna be crucibled out just in time for the triple man. Core collapse. What a play from Hegman, but unfortunately doesn't seem that will result in any kills whatsoever. And he will be the first casualty and the first blood of this game, going over to DVI. Eerie 10. Gonna be forced back, and the CP turret gonna be taken away and stolen by DVI once again. What a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. DVI really having a great performance in the past game, and now going into game 3 as well. Level 8 on the Scarf. He does have the overdrive on that Spitfire now. Los Oswaldos has been an absolutely fantastic captain with his positioning and his engages. As we'll have to see. It looks like they might be trying to set something up here, but thanks to some vision by the side of Oogie Boogie, they're not going to fall for that one.
Yeah, Oswald, you might want to be a little bit cautious. He does have his Arcane Passage if needed, you know, just in case. They will be losing, unfortunately, that CP buff, so Agony will be able to get a little bit of a buff out of that. Just a little bit of extra gold and experience. It's always good to have, you know, just fine. And Agony did go for the Frostburn.
Oh, the troll portal!
Yeah. Well, no, we weren't able to find anything out of that, unfortunately. But yeah, so, Soda Storm, going to be ripping through, not connecting on anyone, unfortunately, for Hegman. But yeah, so Agony did go for the Frostburn, and I mentioned, like, Jungle Samu want to bring a lot more utility than if you were, in that mid lane position. To make a lot more sense to me. But yeah, Oriel in the bot lane, nice double man gauntlet stun, and it's going to be followed up with the Mollis and Verdict damage from Agony. Double kill! What a beast, with that CP buff doing a lot of work there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to get an opportunity to push this turret again at this point now with without having Joey Skaggs and Ariel here to defend it. It's going to go down very easy, and DVI, man, they've maintained a pretty dominant control over this game so far. They're sitting up 5,000 gold already. They've got 3 kills on the board. They've got 2 turrets down while maintaining all of theirs. So we've got Ghost Swing take by DVI now as well. Their objective control has just been pretty on point. Oswaldus is in.
Yeah, Oswald is going to Arcane Passage right in. Lance taking quite a bit of damage. Oriel cannot re-engage that, but the gold going to be taken away, and so normally will be the weapon tune. Yeah, going to be secured by the Joker with this Weapon Arden. Weapon Arden that right now have this Sorrow Blade, so definitely a nice little bit of a power spike for Arden overall. And just, man, Arden, he just needs a nerf in 3.9. I don't believe he actually gets a nerf in his weapon ratio next update. Actually, no, he doesn't. He gets a nerf in terms of CP ratio, which was really surprising on his gauntlet. So Arden going to be normally as good in update 3.9. So for Worlds, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of weapon Ardens coming through.
Yeah, Arden, pretty strong flex pick right now. Looks like we have a little bit of some farming going on up here in the top lane for Agony and the Joker, as that turret did fall to some minions there. We do have Celeste and Grace here looking through their jungle, not really finding a ton of anything. There the spawns are there, though.
Okay, now Spitfire going to be unfortunate. Not taking any of those double backs. 10 minutes, 30 seconds in. 3-0 going away off DVI with a goal lead of 6,000 to 7,000. So DVI once again having a nice lead, and in terms of like how the gold gap has been increasing, like it's been once again just kind of redundant as compared to game number 2. And Iggy hasn't been able to find any ways to respond to those kind of fights, but they had Soda Storm ripping on through. Going to be not connecting on anything of importance, unfortunately. Actually, nothing at all. So that's going to be a little bit of a waste. Hagman going to be putting that Soda Storm on a 50-second cooldown right now. Just got to wait a little bit more before he gets that back up.
And unfortunately, that's pretty much how all the Solar Storms have looked so far this game. Has been a swing and a miss. Unfortunate for Hegman. As we see, he is struggling a little bit in the farm as well. 77 to the 105 of Viking on the Scarf. So getting a little bit behind here on the Celeste, both in experience and in build. Top turret destroyed.
They're going to be able to secure that away. X-Dragon and Agony doing a lot of damage on those objectives. So quick work on that turret in the top lane. Though we do have an invade once again coming out from Joker and Viking, but it might be a 2v3 engage. But once again, that Blood for Blood just securing that weapon buff quite easily. It's kind of hard to secure and take away objectives if you're on that side. Though Solar Storm going to be ripping on through. All the camera work doing a little bit of a bug there. Okay, sorry for that. Healong X-Dragon. They will be trying to rotate their way through. And man, they're just securing that jungle again and again and again. And I can't see Yugi like in any kind of situation when they can actually come on top in these fights. Spitfire's available, gonna get that. Ooh, the damage will be stolen away by Agony with his Corrupted Genius passive there, nicely executed. They're looking for fight potential, but right now Oogie, especially with Hegman, he is pretty damn low. Gets the Divine Intervention, 650 HP heal. So now they can look for an opportunity to re-engage, but I still don't think this is the best situation to be in. Core Collapse going to be completely missing out on Agony. That would have been huge for this side, but Agony 1v3 in them like a boss. Arcane Passage right in. Idris going to get the damage output with the Chakram right on top of the Lorelei. Will he survive? No, he will not. So the Storm coming on through. Oh, the ultimate! Look at the Beast X-Dragon surviving that like a boss. He will survive it. Yuri 10 going to be the last man starting in that skirmish, unfortunately. Woo! What an ultimate, man. It's rare you see the ultimates come down like such on point.
Yeah, beautiful Shimmer Strike coming from X-Dragon there. That sets them up for a beautiful opportunity to go ahead and take this Black Claw, and looks like they're going to be able to do so uncontested. Solar Storm did come through from Hegman during that last engagement, was able to clip a few off the back of Airy getting forced out of the lane early on, but that's an early Black Claw take for the side of DVI. It's only been on the map for a minute, and DVI now, they're going to start pushing in. They've got this Scarf, who's in a very comfortable part of his build, especially since Celeste is so far behind. And I think DVI can bring Iggy down here.
And also, especially talking about Scarf, Viking, he went for the Dragon's Eye itemization. Something that, I gotta say that is kind of a good thing to do. You're against Oriel and Harry 10 on that Grace and the Lance on the front line. So you got pretty stacking materials. It's as good as if you were against the Finn and you can just stack on easily. So the Storm ripping on through on top of the Samuel and the Scarf. Doing a little bit of chip damage. They do get healed up though instantly by this Lara double man fish food from the Crucible. Oh no, Crucible! A huge Oblivion for the side of Divine Vendetta. Dragon's Breath coming on through, gonna try and get the damage output onto the backline. They will be able to pick up Hegman right away. If it's not Scarf, it doesn't work for him, unfortunately. Every time gonna try and run his way out of that one. We'll be able to get and increase the range between himself and X-Dragon. And seems like DVI will be the team coming up on top here. Denominate, they're going to try and get for the armory. They still have the Black Claw pretty low. They do lose the Grace on the front line. It's going to be way too deep. And this will be 2-to-1 situation going the way of Divine Vendetta up against Oogie Boogie.
That was one of the quicker games we've got to spectate here.
I said we needed a 15-minute game for the second game that's coming up very soon. So that's good. I'm happy.
We've had a couple games around the 15-minute mark. This one hovering just above the 14-minute mark. Excellently executed at every stage by the side of DVI. The denial in the mid lane between the Scarf and the Lyra really made it difficult for Hegman to come online. He never got to a comfortable position, and I think the team really struggled behind that a lot. The Lance and the Grace, to me, I just think they put too many eggs in the Hegman Joey Skaggs basket here. A little bit too defensive through the early stage of the game, and it really just allowed this Lyra and Arden to run all over the place uncontested. Great drafting by the side of DVI. They shut Hegman out of his comfort zone, and they're able to pick up Game 3 in a 9-0 victory, 12k gold lead.
Damn, that means, guys, that we have our very first finalist of the European Champions Cup, and that will indeed be DVI. Then in the small finals, we'll be having for the third place finals, it will be then first team in there will be indeed Oogie Boogie. So we'll be seeing more action from that team, but unfortunately they will not be able to succeed throughout this tournament. So now we did have two games going away of DVI in this game. They will be securing their first spot in the finals of the European Champions Cup. We are going to be trying to get the next upcoming game for you guys as soon as possible. The next game that will be coming up will indeed be, let me just get it up for you guys. There it is, perfect. It will be Sly versus Potato Pedal. We were supposed to start 10 minutes ago, so we're just going to try and create the party as soon as possible. So I think we'll just go like on a 2 short minute break for you guys, just so you guys can, get yourself a drink, get yourself some stuff, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit. Denominate.
Yeah, that worked for me, so we will be right back.
See you guys in a bit. Hey guys, we're back for the European Champions Cup once again. If you weren't here earlier, welcome to the EUCC organised by MGL. I'm your host Maxman, joined once again by Denomine with me. Welcome back, Denomine.
Yeah, and always
Very
thank
short
you
break.
for having me, Max. Yeah, very short break. We want to get through all the action for you guys. We had an intense 3-game matchup earlier between DVI and Oogie Boogie. If you guys missed it, did go to that third game. In the end, DVI were able to clean up a very convincing game 3 and close that series out. I believe you mentioned that gave us our first finalist.
Yeah, indeed, for the European Champions Cup. First finalist will be Divine Vendetta. There's going to be a lot of action. So Divine Vendetta will be playing in the finals next weekend up against the winner of this BO3. So let's check it out. So the game we're going to be having up right now will be Sly, the European representatives for the Worlds event next weekend in Los Angeles. They're going to be playing today with us. And they will be facing up against Potato Pedals. So this is a little bit of like a training court for Sly. Or basically Team Clash, if you want to call it as their name. They're going to be like representing in the World Championship in Los Angeles. So yeah, they're going to be playing today, and the winner of this game will be facing Divine Vendetta in the finals of the European Champions Cup. Actually, not next weekend, I believe. I think it's going to be actually in 2 weekends because we can't make them play from Los Angeles. So, you know, time zones are going to be a little bit difficult for that. So it will be in 2 weeks. We'll be having that matchup. But check out the rosters on both sides today. For Sly, the players will be having are Keanu Nakoa, Sneaky, Cracks, Techno JJ, Hundor, and Tyras. And for Potato Pedal, it will be Brudo, Dijan, It's Jozelu, Larouche VIB, Dorcas, Nosong Nomo, and Vici Hoswe. So cannot wait to jump into this game. We're just going to be checking out if both teams are ready to jump into this first game of this BO3. And we'll be ready to start. So just going to check out if the players are ready. I'm ready to jump right into it. Boom.
Yeah, we should be getting ready here shortly. I think we're going to have a pretty similar draft phase. The meta is pretty well defined at this point, as we're obviously coming up to the end of this update, as 3.9 is right around the corner. But you know, huge priority focus on the captains, as well as the Reza and the Anka usually get banned away. Reza makes it through a little bit more frequently, but you know, the big picks are going to be, you know, the Scarf, the Celeste, the Kensei we've had huge performances out of. As well as the Silver Nail and the Kinetic. It's going to be more about who gets what and who they go on to before we can really figure out, you know, what we expect to see. You know, Tenno JJ actually, you know, is one that pulls out the Vox and does a pretty huge performance on as well. Hundor, definitely, for me at least, has changed a lot since 3v3. And I don't want to say it's for the worse. It's just he's got a much more broad hero pool to his comfort zone.
Definitely right now we do go for the Reza and the Lorelei bans on both sides. Shamuku will be the following ban for the side of, I don't know, do we call them Sly or Clash? Because they're like I don't know. I think we should stick to a Sly still anyways. They are called like that in this tournament. We'll be banning away the Shermwalker. Not really surprising. Still Finn on the board. Arden. And surprisingly enough today, the nominee, we haven't seen that much Finn and Yates, which are two heroes really dominant in 3.8. And like it's been kind of ignored today.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Lorelei taken off very early there. Second ban not existent.
No second ban. Apparently, like, I don't know. Like, people say it's a mechanic to not ban. And, like, I think it should be used. Like, even if you do a throwaway ban and just ban Saw or something like that, I don't know. But, like, I don't know. But still, they do go for the no second ban strat. I don't know if it was intentional or not. But they go for the first pick of Arden. And normally it's sneaky to someone who can play Arden to his fullest. But Krax is the one that's representing Europe in the live event of Worlds in Los Angeles next week. And he is the top laner, official top laner for Sly's team. So I guess he's the one that's going to be playing Arden unless it is a roam or jungle Arden, which I don't really think is going to be. Arden completely shines in that top lane position. So it should be Cracks on the Arden. They go for the Yates. Finally, I was saying, man, Yates hasn't been really represented that much today, so they do go for that indeed. One counter pick would be the Finn into that for the late game to be able to just frontline those grabs on the Yates pretty effectively, so I think they will commit to go for that. But Anchor on their side, if they do get the Finn, they got 3 big high priority pickups in 3.8 on their side, and Sly, being Sly, they're going to be pretty hard to shut down if they get the picks they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Anka coming through is a huge pickup that we normally see banned away. That would have been an excellent one for the side of Potato Pedal to ban if they would have banned something. But instead, they lose out on the Reza, as obviously the side of Sly banned away first, and the Anka is picked up, so that mid-game dominance so far is looking to be in favor of the side of Sly. Now, there's a huge potential for Potato Pedal to set up some pretty nasty plays with this Yates, though. You have the Wolf's Maw followed by the Overwhelm and the Bright Bulwark, even potentially a core collapse if this Celeste comes through. But it does look like maybe going to be the Scarf for the side of Potato Pedal.
Yeah, they do maybe want to go for that Scarf. Yeah, they will commit and go for it. I think that's a nice pickup, especially when you are up against an Anchor. If you're able to like get her down with a Spitfire and also a Goop combo, it can put her pretty low. So you just got to be very cautious about that. And though, one problem that I have right now is that they have really poor peeling up against Tyras that might be playing this Anchor. I do expect he will be playing Jungle Anchor here. So like the peeling potential coming out from the side of Potato Pedal is pretty weak. And Anka's just going to be having such a nice game if she doesn't get shut down early. Like, when she gets, like, 1 or 2 items up her sleeve and she starts looking for a little bit more engaged potentials, man, she's going to be an absolute, like, threat. And you have to try and shut her down as early on as possible. And we knew that Tyrus was a player that goes for a lot of early jungle invades with that Anchor. He goes in, steal the way, and then just runs out with his boots. So I think Tyrus is definitely going to be a really threatening foe to deal with for this game of Potato Pedal. They did follow up their roster with a Samuel. So we were talking about we didn't have that many Samuels throughout this this tournament, throughout the European Champions Cup they nominate, and they did go for it twice in a row. So I definitely do like what they're doing here, and they do go for that. And then last pickup on the other side was the Ozo from Lelouch IP, which is I didn't actually get surprised from it, but actually looking at the draft now, I'm actually pretty surprised from it. Went for the Ozo pickup, but you're not against a Lance, so you don't have your #1 counter against you. But still, Ozo in this current meta, I'm not too sure the nominate.
You mean Ozo in any meta, ever. That's what
He
you
had a
meant to
point in
say,
time
but-
where in 3v3s, actually, like, I think it was towards his release, he was actually really, like, viable, but after he got kind of nerfed down to, like, to nothing at this point, and, like, even right now, he's just having a hard time. They need to rework his B, I would say. Like, that's the one I have to complain about.
Yeah, a lot of potential from that pick, especially able to bounce around that backline pretty consistently. But we're getting into game 1 here, Max, and we've got an Adagio for Keanu Nakoa. It's not one that we typically see in the raw captain position, so I'm interested to see where he runs with this build. Typically we'll have Adagios that, either flex like partial captain, partial damage, or going down the crystal path. You've even seen a couple successful weapon Adagios, so we'll have to see, how just being Keanu Nakoa, at least. It seems like this is going to be probably just raw support, and they found an Ozo.
Well, they found an Ozo, and that's going to be a bad spot for him to be into. We'll be using Flask right away, so we'll be able to regen out. Also, because of Ozo's passive, you do get a little bit of an extra packed healing out of that flask, so we'll just be able to slip out of that one. But still unfortunate, using the flask so early on under a minute is not the best position to be in, to be completely honest. We have a 2-man invade coming out, while UCIB will be rotating his way out of that one, and also Bruto going to be rotating around, trying to get assistance. Weapon buff secured by Dorcas on this Lyra. Going to be applying a little bit of a slow on cracks, getting out of that one. Will be able to survive whatsoever. Still an unfortunate invade coming out from the side of Slide, not able to get much out of it. As do you have a solo man invade coming out from your boy Joselu. And no vision though, unfortunately, coming out on the side of Slide. So that's going to be normally a free weapon buff unless someone rotates, but that will not be the case.
Yeah, it seems to be Dorcas taking quite a bit of damage there, almost dropping. He does have that weapon buff, which maybe not the most ideal target to get it on, but I mean, with the contestation over it, it was just lucky for Potato Petal that it went to them at all. Crystal Triad is picked up by Tyrus there. As you mentioned, he's going to be playing the Anka in the jungle. And last time we seen him on the Anka and Resipix, he was able to get a absolutely demanding lead early on and really overwhelm for the rest of the game. So I'm interested to see if he gets that level of freedom here in this game against Potato Petal, who have also had some pretty, pretty convincing wins here throughout this tournament so far.
Yeah, definitely. Just checking out a little bit of a technical. Once again, like the BS has not been my friend today. I don't know why. He's just doing some weird stuff with the sound. Just got to take care of it. It's all good. But yeah, so far in this game, we have a goal lead that's pretty inexistent on both sides. No team's going to be able to take a lead for the time being. Checking out the builds, looks like Bruto will be indeed committing and going for the hybrid kind of Idris build up. Not really surprising at that point. So they will be committing to that indeed. Hondo, like no items yet so far. We just checking out. Still no like core items. You have a heavy prison coming out from Techno JJ, so he's gonna have a little bit of extra damage though if he does look for any kind of skirmishes. He doesn't seem it will be the case right now. Like talking about the potential matchups, we do have then Hondo on the kinetic. We also do have the enemy that's going to be played by Bruto. He can make a lot of room when he hits his level 8 spike on the kinetic. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how the late game is going to be playing off for both of the carries for both of these teams they nominate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Kiana the Koa there in the mid lane was able to hold that wave for Techno JJ to return, as well as prevented one of Scarf's recalls, which just bought a little bit of extra time. So really well played out of Kiana Nakoa there. Tyra's level 3 on the Anka. Not quite a killer yet, but we'll have to see as the game progresses. Techno JJ on point with these Malice and Verdicts, though.
Oh, he still cracks. They're trying to steal away with the Blood for Blood. That weapon buff will not be able to do so. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit in vain. Still, no goal lead whatsoever as Tyro's going for the solo jungle invade. He's going to be paired up now with Techno JJ, Kiana Nakoa, just around the corner if they really need to. But that's going to be a 5-man just collapsing onto Techno. And also Tyro's going to get stunned up. Tyro's pretty low down to mid HP. Can he make his way out of that one? I'm not too sure. Oh, he will turn it around! Tyro's, what a beast! Just able to get that kill right off the bat. Tyro's just jumping on through, going to try and get that healing chain for himself. We'll be able to do so. The grab almost connecting. Joselu just a little bit too deep. And then that is what Anka is good at. Just like, you think you got the lead, just get one Shimmer Blade down, and then you're just going to get completely melted to the ground. And like that really shows that Tyro's on Anka is very scary, especially for Potato Petal in this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, as that's only one kill on the board, but man, the fact that Tyro's even made it out alive is pretty impressive there. They've now got quite a bit of pressure down in the bottom lane here. They've got that first turret, and they've got themselves a 2,000 gold lead here under 5 minutes. So we'll have to see what they're able to do with that. Scarf and Lyra doing their absolute best here to force up the wave, try to hopefully get a jungle rotation down if they can. 5 minutes in, Scarf can hit this mid lane shop, which is smart for him. He's picked up a bit more crystal power, not really into a full tier 3 yet, sitting about, I don't know, 700-800 gold away from his potential first item here. Whether he goes with the Spellfire or a Shatter Glass, we'll have to see. Usually the Spellfire on Scarf, though.
I'm talking about Spellfire. We do have now Techno JJ with the Spellfire up his sleeve, going to be giving him a nice little bit of extra damage, especially like really smart to go for the Spellfire here to try and negate away Dorcas's healing on this Lyra pickup. So it makes a lot of sense, no problem around that whatsoever. Joselu is going to try to like stop that invade coming up from Hondo Taurus. I don't think he has any like the damage output or anything to be able to deal with that, so you just better just let it slip away. You have, though, another invade coming out from Cracks, but he's just, once again, just going to be just a little bit too late on his rotation to steal that away. Cracks trying to look for the re-engage. He does have Keanu and Techno JJ on his heels. Can that be enough to get 1 or 2 kills? Does it get a Gauntlet? It was a double man stun, really nicely executed, and that will be the end of Ozo. 3-0 so far, going the way of Sly. Oblivion does connect. Can he get the kill? I do indeed think so. Techno JJ is going to be said hello, picking up a kill and getting the hell out of that turret. Nicely executed. And like just applying pressure on bot, on top, absolutely everywhere. Sly is owning this game.
Yeah, 4-0 on the board right now. Kills respective to Techno JJ and Tyra's. This Anka, while still very early in the game, thanks to just the scaling of her abilities, she just does a massive amount of damage early on and really fulfills that assassin role the way that she needs to. And Tyra's, you know, a very aggressive, very proven jungler in the European Vainglory scene. Definitely excited to see where he's able to go with this pick. We're obviously moving a little bit later into the tournament at this point, and the action is just going to get more and more intense. But Crystal Treant is going to get secured by Techno JJ.
You're going to be able to take that away indeed. So checking out the builds, checking out also Lelouch VIB. Seems like he will be going for the Serpent Mask kind of build up on Ozo. So it will be Weapon Ozo. I would have preferred to see a CP Ozo, to be completely honest. I think CP Ozo is pretty fun to play, and the damage output can be pretty interesting when you're not against the Lance and negate and stop that the aggro bounce. Though we do have an engage there, 3v2 in this top lane. That's going to be Ozo just dipping out of that fight, just not ready to commit. Yates ulting his way out of that one. Can he make it through? No, will not be able to give assistance to the Aegis. He's going to be dropping on his own Bruto, unfortunately. Now, they're looking to try and potentially go for an objective I can see down there, as Hundor will be changing his focus over to this Ghosting, followed up with Tyra's. Should be taken away without too much of a hassle, but you have a few members of Potato Pedal around the corner. Maybe they can, but they're just not going to go that way. They have no ideas taken now.
Yeah, looking to be a rough spot for the side of Potato Pedal. I'm not in love with the Ozo pick here, that's for sure.
Ooh,
oh,
talking about Ozo gets a kill.
Yeah.
Or maybe the only kill we'll get, though, like, you know, like, just I don't know. It's just one kill. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Ozo to carry, you know.
In retrospect, that was Scarf's kill to get. It was just so
KS, where's the KS? Okay. Well, it's not KS. It's like KS stands for kill secure, not kill steal.
Kill
so.
secured. Right.
Exactly. So Ozo's got nothing. You got nothing on an Ozo denominator. Nothing.
Right. But Tyra's, Hondur, Techno JJ, and Keanu being very aggressive, able to push the side of Potato Pedal back with only having 4 members. And that really speaks to the fear that this Anka can instill in its enemies. And this first turret's going to go down no problem.
Oh, you can see he's got the Shiver Blade. Oh, he dives on through Tyra's wannabe. He's the anchor. Blink and you will miss it. And just picks up a little bit of wave, you know, just while he's jumping around. Anchor now, he's got the Aftershock. He just procced it down on his basic when he was already down to mid HP and the damage output was just way too much to deal with. Bangaran right on top of Techno JJ, but unfortunately he uses the flask and he will get out with actually more health than he actually started that fight. So that's all good for him, you know. Also the sustain from Keanu Nakoa being absolutely on point. He does have the Crucible looking for the Fountain next item, it does seem like. So just going to be able to keep his back lane carries absolutely on point in terms of HP. And Crack's just in the top lane, just going to be bullying Bruto out of his lane. He does have the Dragon's Eye Bruto, but it's just not enough to pick up a 1v2 at this point. So still 7-1 going the way of Sly, and with a dominant 4,000 to 5,000 gold lead.
Uh-oh, Tyra's.
Sly being on point. Yeah, Tyra's right now, though. He's on his own. Going to be focused down. Going to try and turn it around. Can he do so? No. Keanu Nakoa not going to be able to apply the heal. He did have his heal off cooldown, too, so that potentially could have been a save. But unfortunately, will not be able to do it fast enough.
Yeah, not quite. Unfortunate for the side of Sly, but I don't think they're going to be hurting too much. Cyrus is in a pretty comfortable stage of this game right now. He's working into his second item, you know, upwards of 1,000 gold away from that still. But now Cracks, he might be in a rough spot here.
Cracks a little bit too deep, put down to mid HP, but so is Bruto. He can't do anything. Blood for Blood is available, and I don't know what Idris was really thinking there. He just ulted randomly, and he just got put back in the middle of that fight. So weaponry going to be taken away. 1 man, actually 2 man down, as they did lose Dorcas and Bruto in that fight. And like right now, how the game is going, I can't see any kind of like situations where Potato Pedal comes up on top. And look at that! He secures the CP buff, and he also gets a chunk of damage right on top of VG Josue. Gets the kill with his passive. Not too much of a problem. TechnoJJ going to get bangeranged up. He's going to get the slow and the stun from Keanu Nakura with that Verse of Judgment. Get judged for your sins of picking Ozo. That's going to be a nice early executed from the team of Sly, as they do once again go for this Ghost Wing in the top lane. Another fight is unfolding. They do get the turret. Brute and Dorcas going to try and close the gap, but they just know they can't follow it up. And maybe actually if they did follow it up, I don't even think they could actually pick up the fight and get any kills.
No, but what the side of Sly can pick up is that Ghost Wing. We've got another 40 seconds or so on the Black Claw, so unable to take that, but is demanding, as they've been winning all these fights. I would expect them to try to pressure the side of Potato Pedal. You know, start that objective up, play it safe, make sure you can engage on a team fight if you need to, and they could really have a devastating push off the back of that. You know, since it wouldn't be a game-ending push likely in the mid lane, since there's still 2 turrets in the armory, we could still very well get a very crippling blow, maybe even some good split push to crack open the base on that top or bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely going to have to try and put a little bit of a focus on those choke point turrets, the nominee. But so far, it doesn't seem like that's the focus. They're just looking to get more gold, get more items and power spikes up their sleeve. That's, I think this. I understand, like, that is definitely the next focus. Tyrus, he does have his House and Charges and Aftershock, so he's not looking for, like, he doesn't have, like, 2 offensive items, but he doesn't need it, to be completely honest, man. You see the damage output he's pouring out with Anchor? It's just absolutely huge. And the front line, unfortunately, as I was talking about, they do not counter Anchor in any way, shape, or form, so they, like, he's just got free range, and they're just going to be losing Scarf right off the bat in that fight. It's going to be collapsed onto fairly fast. Keanu Nakura going to try and get the Verse of Judgment down properly, even though Arcane Passage, but that's in the base or not, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a focus down by Sly for ages. They will not let you escape.
Yeah, TechnoJJ going to work on clearing out this mid lane and forcing the turret up. A little bit of a charming emoji there from TechnoJJ. Going to go ahead and work on this second turret. Lelouch VIB is on his way over here, but so is Krax, and just not a lot going on for this Oza right now. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the dynamic duo of Hundor and Tyras, they find themselves a free kill onto Bruto. That Idris sitting at 0-5 right now, really struggling to get online. He does have his Dragon's Eye complete. He does have that alternating current complete. You just need to get a little bit further into this, essentially what
Verse of Judgment going to be crucibled out by the enemy team. He's going to be trying to use his ultimate there, the Dragon's Breath, but unfortunately VG Josue is going to be able to force his way out of that one. You have the Ozo just way too deep. His sustain, even though it's quite high, will not be enough for him to survive it. And he will be able to, he will be the casualty in that fight. Dragon's Breath was unfortunately a little bit of a mistake. I was talking about Dragon Light, I'm talking about the Black Hole. They do lose the Yates. First, right off the bat, Mirage ultimate just on point by Tyra, just able to get out of range. Oh, maybe can he turn it around? No, VG Josue going to be way too far away to try and give assistance in terms of damage. They will not be able to pick up then Tyra's. Tyra's is just so low, nobody actually able to take him down. Armory dropping into the mid lane, but the health bar is pretty low for the members of Sly, so I think they should be trying to force their way out of that one. It does seem like the smartest decision to go for. Potato Pedal's completely on the back foot of this game, Denominate.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and as we mentioned, they probably won't be able to close the game out on a single Black Cloud push, but look at the pain that has been inflicted on the Potato Pedal base. That mid lane is cracked wide open through the armory. That's one more thing that the side of Potato Pedal have to worry about at this point now, is those buffed minions that are going to be pushing in, and the fact that off the back of that, Sly, they've gone ahead and they picked themselves up a Ghost Wing, and they're getting another jungle rotation out now as well. TechnoJJ is sitting at the level 11 mark, very close to level 12, where he'll get that last point put into his Oblivion. A little bit of an extra cooldown, a little bit of extra damage, nothing too crazy. It's not an overdrive. So we'll have to see where TechnoJJ can go with that. He's performing great here on the Samuel today, though. 5-0-4, sorry. And Tyra's 6-1-3 on the Anka.
And talking about who's not really performing as well today, it is unfortunately Burrito on this Idris. He was kind of, in my opinion, he was kind of incarnating like the hopes and dreams of Potato Pedal's team to try and like carry this game entirely. But unfortunately, he's just like been completely focused down the entirety of the game, like standing right now to 0-6. But nice grab actually, right onto the Anchor, able to just dash her way out of the stun, nicely executed. Gonna able to get their focus down onto VG Josue. Almost gonna killing blow. Tyrus diving on through. 1-for-1 kill whatsoever. That's not a problem. Cancel out the ultimate from your boy Yates on Joselu. Believing gonna be put to sleep the enemies. Good night, sweet prince. This will be ace and game number 1 going the way of Team Sly, aka Clash.
Yeah, and what a wonderful way for them to clean it out with a quick and dominant ace. 16 minutes into the game, 22-2 with a 10,000 gold lead, only losing out on 2 of their turrets. That Anka, every time we see it come through, just has such a crazy performance through the early and the mid game. It does make it a little bit difficult of a choice to try to fight that off with the early game of something like the Yates or the or even the Ozo, who we never seen get to a comfortable position in this game. So a little bit lackluster on the drafting for the side of Potato Pedal here for me. They never got to a point in the game where we seen Scarf come online, and they really struggled against the damage that Tyrus was able to put out in a short amount of time. And not a ton of defense built across the board for the side of Potato Pedal. You know, again, that's kind of going to fall into the gold deficit, though, of 10k.
Yeah, 10k unfortunately just not able to get your defense, because if you commit to go to defense early in the early game and the mid game phase, you're kind of trading that out for damage output. And when you got specific picks like a Scarf, a Nidris, also an Ozo, well, not really know what to think about the Ozo pickup here, but you're putting yourself like at a huge disadvantage, especially when you have a Scarf, in my opinion. Like, if you don't go for those core offensive items and you go for defense, why the hell are you picking Scarf in the, like, right from the start? So I understand why VG Josue went for the Spellfire Eve of Harvest, just unfortunately couldn't get defense as soon as possible. He seemed like he was going for a Broken Myth too. So I think that would have been maybe a power spike that would have allowed Potato Pedal to come back in this game, but only 60 minutes in, and with a 10k gold deficit, not really much you can do, unfortunately, Denominate. Anyways, that is game number 2 going the way of Team Sly, aka Clash, that will be representing EU in the World's Invitational, of the VPL World's Invitational at Los Angeles next weekend. So we got to support them, of course, but still, this tournament isn't over quite yet. This is the semi-finals of the European Champions Cup. That means that the winner of this second BO3 today will be facing in the final in 2 weeks. We'll be facing in the final phase the side of Divine Vendetta. They did secure it. It's a 2-0 situation against Iggy. That was actually pretty surprising, but they pulled off such a nice game overall. Just going to get the teams prepared now to jump into game number 2 of this BO3 of Sly versus Potato Pedal. Denominate. Do you think Potato Pedal might have an opportunity to come back in this game, or do you think it's pretty well like set in stone at this point?
I think Potato Pedal definitely has a lot of opportunity that they could come back. It's just hard to say. Yeah, the Ozo was a pretty heavy throwaway to me. They let that second ban go and null, let the Anka through, and you know, there was mistakes made from the draft that I think spelled a very grim game for the side of Potato Pedal.
And also the fact that they had that Spellfire on the Anchor, they had Spellfire on the Samuel, and they were doing so well in their game, and they just completely shut down the healing potential coming out from Dorcas on that Lyra, and also the passive of the Ozo. So you're trying to get an Ozo just going to try and sustain as much as possible on the front line. It's not going to be working out for you. And also Ozo, he had the Serpent Mask, so it's like one of your core items you want to build on a weapon Ozo. And one big problem that he went there is that he was building towards a tension bow. And even though I understand the thinking of going for a tension bow, like they were pretty squishy on the enemy team. Like they had the Anka and Samuel going almost defenseless in the game, not the Anka, she was starting to go for a Slumbering Husk. You're like, I understand why, but in my opinion, when you pick an Ozo, if it's CP or weapon, you're not picking it as an assassin, you're picking it as a sustain, scaling damage hero. Going Tenchibo Ozo, in my opinion, doesn't make the cut.
No, you're absolutely right, Max. Everything about weapon Ozo on paper looks fantastic. It just never works out. So less Ozo, the speed boost is nice for chasing down those backline targets. But it's not consistent enough on the damage. It's not consistent enough on the sustain. And I really think that was where they struggled. They were pairing up a heavy, aggressive early game jungler of the Anka they gave away on the side of Sly, trying to combat it with an Ozo who actually can be pretty strong in the early game, but not Anka strong.
Okay, so just looking for the last player. Seems like we might have another switch of players. Nosung Nomu is connected. I'm inviting him right now. Gonna have to see if he's gonna be replacing Bruto to just left the game. I don't know if it's a disconnection or he just can't fill in the role. We'll just have to wait and like get a little bit more time. So guys, if you did just join us, welcome to the European Champions Cup. I'm your host Maxman, joined once again by Denominator is. Well, let me check it out. Are you on my... Yeah, you're on my left. Okay, so I'm not mistaken. I was like kind of triggered if I was like I also can't get my right and my left like properly, so I don't know, it's pretty weird. But right now, yeah, we did have 2 games today, guys. It is the semi-finals of the European Champions Cup. We had Iggy Boogie versus Divine Vendetta earlier. Iggy Boogie pretty dominant in game number 1. They had Leon on their side, but after that, unfortunately, Leon had to leave the game and had to replace him with Eerie. Tender still did a nice job in this game, but like they kind of gave the opportunity for DVI to come back in the game and take it 2-1. So Divine Vendetta will be the first finalist of the European Champions Cup organized by MGL. And then the winner of the current matches unfolding right now under our very eyes is Sly versus Potato Pedal. The winner of this match will be facing up against DVI in about 2 weeks after the World's Invitational in Los Angeles. So cannot wait to check that out. I'm just checking out Bruto. Seems like Bruto is back. Okay, so we will not have a switch around. Invite Bruto back in, and we'll be ready to jump into draft of game number 2, and maybe a 2-0 situation for Sly. Feeling very dominant, and I think they're pretty damn prepared for the World's Invitational next week.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Max. I've definitely looking forward to that. I mean, that's obviously going to be the best matchups we can possibly get. Obviously, because it'll be the best performing teams all the way through. But definitely looking at Sly/Clash to be making it through, at least based on their performance all tournament long so far. DVI also going to be one, obviously, moving forward, so we'll have to see how those games end up working out for them. But we should be getting into this draft here. Again, gonna have that priority on the captains and the Anka and Reza here early on. Potato Pedal, they may leave the Anka open this time because they have that first pick. But I don't know well enough on the side of Potato Pedal if they have anybody who can really excel on the Anka to the stage that Tyros was able to do last game.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to play it, you got to be absolutely on point with the Anka pickup. Anka's still been available, so Potato Pedal, maybe you want to like try and take that away. They do have the Arden pickup. They did play against it earlier, and Krax was pretty dominant with it in the lane. Not having as good of an invade potential with the Arden as he was expected, but still, his laning phase was pretty damn dominant. So that's going to be the first pick. Anka, though, open. They do also have the Finn. So, oh, man, Potato Pedal, I don't think are in the best of situation, knowing that also Tyros is in that second pick situation. So, will I go for the Anka? I wouldn't be really surprised they're nominated, to be honest.
Yeah, we definitely have seen great performances out of the Anka, but at this point, I mean, do you let it through with the Arden? Tyros is apparently looking at the Finn there, but I do think the Anka is just the better choice for the side of Sly at this point, and there it is. Reza taken away, again, one of those crystal junglers that can really compete with the damage that Anka is able to put out. And he's taken off the board. So it's really a struggle from this point here for the side of Potato Pedal. They pick up the Samuel, which Techno JJ did have an excellent performance on last game. But it's not really a huge game-changing pick, in my opinion, like the way that the Anka is, or like the way a Scarf can be as well.
Yeah, definitely. Still, they're going to be potentially going to be going for that Finn. Now they go looking for that Silvernail. They go for the Silvernail instead. So Finn hasn't. Am I mistaken? We haven't seen like a Finn once in today's matches, Denominator, I believe. Like we saw Yates definitely, but no Finn whatsoever. If they get a Finn with Janka together, getting a fortified health before engaging in the team fight, if you're able to time it well, and the synergy on Sly is definitely really on point. It's going to be pretty scary to deal with the Tyros with steroids coming out from that Finn. So they do commit and go for that Finn pickup. Still a lot of picks still available. Especially, for example, we still have the Gwen still open. Kinetic still open. They could commit and go for that if they do really feel like it. But they went for the Adagio instead. Trying to give that extra sustain from a range, I believe, for Tyros. When he does decide to commit and engage. And also because when you do give your Agent of Wrath onto the Anchor, it does proc with your passive too. So you kind of like buff your damage output pretty impactfully.
Yeah, you're correct there. We did have the Adagio come through for Kiana Nakoa in game 1. Was doing actually a great job reinforcing the team. So interesting to see if they switch that back over to him as well. or if he's going to stick it out on the Grace this time. Again, Adagio, one of those very flexible characters, can be support, can be weapon power, can be crystal power. Not really a ton in the jungle, but definitely can pull out one of those lane positions. Silvernail and Vox will be the round off picks here for the side of Potato Petal, and I think they have themselves a strong draft here. I'm just a little bit worried about them having let through the Anka for Tyras again, and now it looks like a Celeste picked up by the side of Techno JJ, or side of Sly for Techno JJ, and historically, we've usually seen Celeste win out over the Samuel as far as range, as far as consistent damage. But, you know, this is a new patch for Vainglory Competitive. Well, new-ish patch for Vainglory Competitive, and we'll have to see how that works out in this 3.8 meta.
Yeah, because new patch is next Wednesday, guys. And it's going to be, like, talking about that, like, next patch is 3.9, going to be on Wednesday. Going to be interesting how, like, the competitive scene, like, worldwide is going to be reacting to that, because they're going to have, like, 3 or 4 days of training on 3.9, like, meta. So, it's going to be pretty stressful for both of these teams. But right now, we are in 3.9. The meta is kind of set in stone for most of the regions. And CN picks that aren't really surprising, except for this Samuel that doesn't come out as often as you would expect, and it will be played this time around by Lelouch VIB. I think definitely a lot smarter of a pickup than Ozo that we did see last game, so definitely going to be trying to reclaim his game in this second game. If you guys just arrived, welcome to the European Champions Cup. I'm your host, Maxman, joined once again by Denominate, and we are jumping into the second game of this BO3 of Team Sly versus Potato Petal. Right now, Sly kind of having the lead 1-0, and if they do win this game, they will be the second finalist facing up against Divine Vendetta in the finals in about 2 weeks. So we'll see if this is a 2-0 situation or if Potato Petal are able to reclaim a victory in this second game.
Only time will tell here, Max. We're very early on, and we've got you know, our usual invades on both sides. Crystal Treant going to the opposition both ways. Silvernail, however, is going to see that Krax is down here trying to get this weapon Treant, but can he get the steal, or is he going to be dead meat to Bruto and Dorcas here? That weapon Treant healing up. Krax.
Rip.
He's going to drop. Okay.
I was seeing Joslu there, unfortunately. Rip, your boy Joslu went for the invade. Unfortunately, not really to his advantage. He did come to lose his life there. He was able to get the gold egg though, so a little bit of, you know, able to just catch up that goalie just a little bit. But still, a first blood is not really something you want to give over, and it doesn't really allow you to give over first blood. So that will give just a little bit of a goal lead the way of a slide. Just not as much as you would expect, but still just a little bit. And might give them the opportunity to get a tier 2 item ASAP as they do go for their first rotation to the shop. The one core collapse right on top of Iggy, Josue and Dorcas. Nicely done by Techno JJ. But still, so far, once again, the draft, I think we both agreed and nominated to give the advantage over to Sly around, especially this anchor pickup that's been so dominant over the course of the European Champions Cup in 3.8. So this game is going to be definitely relying a lot around Tyrus. So if they can, I would do a big request to Potato Petal to try and shut down this Anka as early on as possible.
Yeah, the Anka being let through again was just really where I was like, okay, this looks like Sly's draft already, because Anka is just, she's so powerful through that mid stage of the game, even going into the later phases of the game, and she can actually be very difficult to shut down. The Adagio did end up going over to Hundor, so we're going to see that lane Adagio, and the Finn is going to be on Kiana Nakoa, and that is a very traditional lane or captain pick for Europe. They're very comfortable with it. Kiana Nakoa is absolutely great at timing his forced chords. I'm actually assuming we'll see a couple of those fully land and not get crucibled, so we'll have to see.
Taro's not able to secure any of those camps, unfortunately. He's going to try and run his way out of that one. Ruto, he's got completely split out, and he's able once again, Taros, to turn this one around, picks up a kill. Techno JJ with the core collapse. Helio is going to be able to give out a lot of damage. Luciabi, pretty low. He does have his passive if he wants to get a little bit more regen, but doesn't seem like that will be enough. A big fat quibble from the big fat boy, Keanu Nuka, securing that kill. The side of Sly without too much of a hassle. 3-1 goal lead. Pretty damn slim. Going over to the Slav Sly, but still, like, small advantage in the early game can lead you up to a huge gold gap in the late game. So they have to try and put a stop to that right now if you're on the side of Potato Petal, or that will have huge consequences in the near future.
Yeah, Tyra's already having a pretty decent impact. He might struggle a little against the Silvernail with the stakes down, but overall, they've been able to put 3 kills on the board early on. The Finn and Canada Koa and Cracks were able to get a double stun chain on... Oh, there's another double stun chain, actually.
Oh no, the CC chain, absolutely disgusting coming out from the start of Team Slide. Future Horseway a little bit out of position. Does use this flask for his troubles though. That's very unfortunate that you have to use that up. But still, man, the pressure coming out. And Keanu Kirby in such a tanky front line. But still, Lelouch, being a one-man army there, will be able to pick up that Keanu 1-1 situation. Kraft's going to be giving over actually 2 kills. He's going to be the 2 kills secured by Potato Pedal. So Kraft maybe have to be a little bit more on the edge in terms of his positioning. Maybe just a little bit too aggressive in this early game. Because Grace, you know, is really good when she's tanky. But when you're early game, she doesn't have that defense that really Grace is renowned for. So maybe just play a little bit more passive, in my opinion, Cracks.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. And one thing is Grace is going to struggle through a majority of this game. With Lelouch being the jungler here on the side of Potato Pedal, it's a ranged rotation that they're going to get, as well as Bruto being on the Silvernail outranges Cracks at all stages of this game. And with both of them, with Lelouch having that weapon power buff, there's just not a lot Cracks can do except for maybe just go ahead and give up this turret. He's not going to have the rotation from his team. He doesn't have a ton of wave clear with a single weapon blade. And it's not looking good for him. He's going to be pressured constantly by the side of Potato Pedal.
Rotation from Techno JJ and also Kianidak. Oh, hello, Peekaboo. You ain't going to survive that. Oh, nicely executed. They just gave the information on those rotation. Iggy on Lelouch will be missing out. Lelouch going to try to make himself a little bit more room, trying to survive it. He does have his Corrupted Genius for extra regen, but that will just not be enough. He does use the flask, but I don't think it's really useful to use the flask if you're almost sure you're going to die. Is he going to die? I believe so. Yeah, holy never. Okay, I was like, maybe that's actually maybe not sure. But yeah, he does go down. Unfortunately, a little bit waste of a flask, in my opinion, right there. And he will be given an extra kill, 5-2, the way of Sly, with a goal lead that's slowly climbing. 1k goal lead, 5 minutes in.
Yeah, absolutely. 1k, nothing really that's gonna, be the end of the game here, but with it being an Anka, you could definitely set up some mid-game fights and start to extend that lead, especially when we actually see a fight where Tyrus is able to dive in. You'll be able to watch, for example, like Bruto's health just go from 100 to nothing, and here comes Tyrus right now.
Tyrus diving on through, force a court, coming up on Keanu Nakoa. Get over here. He's not going to be able to escape of that. Lelouch, he will be the casualty in that fight. I just want to check out the builds real quick and talk about something very specific in this game. Hundor is on to the Weapon Adagio, and personally, the last time I saw Weapon Adagio was when Dienzio was very active in Vainglory, and he played it. Even though Dienzio now is back in Vainglory, but like he played Weapon Adagio, and man, that can be a very scary pick. And in this draft, it's actually really good and like makes a lot of sense in my opinion, because when you look at the entirety of the enemy team on the side of Potato Pedal, they have range that is like pretty good range, but like compared to this Adagio, the range is pretty small, unless like except for Lelouch VIB with his Samuel, with his Malice and Verdict can hit you out from an absolute huge amount of distance. Like basically this Weapon Adagio is going to be completely unharmed in most like scenarios and can just poke out his damage without too much of a hassle. So this is like a situation where I would say Weapon Adagio makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. As you mentioned, that range, it really just allows him to abuse high weapon power damage, as well as high attack speed trade-offs. So we see the Sorrow Blade. He's actually picked up an infusion too for this fight. Here we go. Look at
no! Lot of miscommunication there. Holy never going to be cancelled out by the Force to Core, but still they do pick up the Samuel. Lelouch VIB. That seems like to be the main focus. They're just bullying him completely out of this game. Hundor just dashing out a crap ton of damage. Dive on through from the anchor with his damage. Double kill on the turret. Maybe a triple on Joselu. Can he pick it up? Yes, he can. What a beast, Tyrus. 1v3 turret dive. Hundor just taking the turret. Doesn't even care. He knows he can do it. That's why I kill team synergy right there. He has confidence in his own teammates. And whoa, man, scary pickups.
And that's why you don't let the Anka go through, especially not onto somebody as talented with it as Tyrus. As you mentioned, turret diving, picking up 3 kills, including the one on the Arden, who was very healthy before that engagement. But Ghostwing gonna get stolen away by Bruto.
I didn't even realize that. Okay, Bruto gets up that Ghostwing indeed. Nicely done, stolen away. That's going to be giving them a little bit of an edge, able to reduce just a little bit of that gold gap. They're still standing to 1,000 gold lead the side of Team Sly. Tyros maybe with his dance off blade steal. No, just a little bit too late. And not going to be able to take that away from VG Josue and Dorcas. But still, right now, this game, 9 minutes in, 10-3. And once again, Sly feeling really dominant. And Tyros, he has his Aftershock now. And that's his huge power spike. And it doesn't matter if you're like a squishy backline or you're a tanky frontline, like especially like the Arden earlier. He doesn't care. He'll just completely burst you down. And that's why Aftershock Anchor, in my opinion, is like one of the best itemizations on the hero. Something that people actually don't do that much. People try to put bigger emphasis and focus on like Spellfire, like Broken Mist, Shadow Glass. But Aftershock is really a good item, especially because it gives you a little bit of extra regen and cooldown reduction on your abilities. So, and also paired up with those House and Charges, man, you can just dive in and out of team fights like in a few split seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got another fight potentially breaking out here in the mid lane. Cracks on the Grace is dangerously low. Here we go.
Joselu going to be forced to cord right through. Now there's going to be the Mirage Ultimate from Tyros doing quite a lot of work. Divine Intervention coming on through. Oblivion going to be put into sleep. Good night, sweet Princess Celeste. Core Collapse connecting though. Following it up with the Solar Storm, doing a little bit of chip damage. No one falling down in this fight, which is actually pretty surprising. A lot of low HP like heroes on both sides, so no casualties whatsoever. We do have the Celeste go for the Eve of Harvest. Divine Intervention. Sorry, I mean first off, Judgment. They're kind of the same. I don't know, like Judgment and like Divine Intervention. I don't know, kind of makes me think of the same ability there. But we'll be able to save their first mid lane turret for now, at least.
Yeah, and this lead is growing slowly but consistently in as far as the kills go for the side of Sly. They're sitting up 10-3. Tyra's, again, huge performance so far on this Anka. Kiana Nakoa doing absolutely great on the Finn. We see he's already gone into those tier 3 boots, into the journey boots. He's level 8. He's got the overdrive on his Quibble, so he's got that full-on stun now. And that is just going to be incredibly potent. Here we go. This fight could break out here in a second.
You can see Tyros, they had his Shimmer Blade down on top of
Yeah,
him.
he was ready.
Yeah, he was ready, but he was just like, nah, I'm not going to pull the trigger. He's just going to be waiting a little bit more. So that's all good for... I think for Lelouch, that's all good. Like, really, I think Tyros probably could have got the kill anyways. But still, so far, 11 minutes in, 10-3. Still no new kills in, like, the past, like, 4 to 3 minutes. So, a little bit, like, it's gone pretty impressive, quite fast. Sly, 4 members in the mid lane. Trying to secure and save their turret once again, able to do so with quite a big amount of success. And also the fact that they like took the turret away in the mid lane, the first turret away from Potato Pedal so early on, give them such a huge effort, huge force to cord coming out from your boy Finn with the vision. That's going to be 2 members down on the side of Potato Pedal. That's what I call synergy. Followed up then with the dance blade, like the dance blades, and also with the heading over. They're just going to get out. So
for this though.
Another steal. No steal, unfortunately, for Potato Pedals, but man, they're just getting bullied out at this point. And Hundor, one-man army, is looking for the fight, looking for Dorcas to be specific. Will be able to teleport through. Will he be able to get the damage output? I do not think so. He did go for Tornado Trigger, so this seems to be like a... Well, it doesn't seem it is a crit. Like, basically, a weapon Darjo, so pretty interesting. Core Collapse going to be blocked out by VT Cross, whereas Luge VIB is going to be taking one-on-one this Finn, but Steel can't pick up the 1v1 on Finn. Crack's going to be a little bit too far on the front line. Cracks did go for kind of a like mid-utility slash weapon path. Pretty interesting. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, to be honest. But yeah, so that's going to be no fights, no kills on each side. But still, second mid lane turret dropping down pretty fast. And once again, giving even more room to Sly's team for extra team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. You are dead on there. 12 kills on the board for the side of Sly. Still anybody's game, you know, especially looking at the crystal-powered box. You know, that's a pick you can never sleep on. Even when he's incredibly far behind, if you don't play it safe, there's that opportunity where he could wipe your team in just a second and really switch the way the rest of the game goes. But all maybe wasted there, I would say.
Going to try and engage that fight, trying to zone him out with the Samuel. But Ludish VIB pretty far beyond in terms of like itemization. Only got a Spellfire when you look at the enemy team. Tyros, 3 core items with the House and Charges, with the Aftershock and the Spellfire. Looking to go for Slumbering Husk. Pretty nicely done so far. That pretty big lead, so the damage output coming out from a Slide just absolutely huge. The Force Core was blocked out though by Kiana Nakoa, so that was nicely executed. Still, I just can't see any kind of like scenarios where Potato Pedal comes up on top at this point because they gave them such a huge lead. And Josely just used a flask. I guess that was a misclick. Not too sure, but that's going to be a one flask down for Potato Pedal, and going to have to be a little bit more cautious as Lelouch. You're not frontline hero. What are you doing, Lelouch VIP? He's going to be completely caught out of position. So the Storm ripping on through, going to be missing out completely the enemy team. Crack's going to be very low, but now he's going to get focused down onto Techno JJ. Uses the flask. Cracks blood for blood. One Punch Man going to absolutely shred it to pieces. Mirage dashing out quite a bit of damage. Tyrus, he's looking for the engage onto this Lyra. Can he do so? Yes, he can. The Spellfire is proc down. Can he get the kill? No, he won't. But still, man, that was a very scary situation to be in if you're Dorcas. I think you guys would understand. Oh, but man, like, even the fight when it seemed to go the way, like, it was, like, at the start of the fight definitely did seem to go the way of Potato Pedal. Sly just turned it around and Anchor just, like, doing so much damage. Like, just can't stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyra's almost able to pick up the kill, almost dropping his life there, but in the end of things, he was able to get out safely, which is great for them. They were able to get the Black Claw. 15-4 right now. Anka is here poking damage out a little bit. Can't really do much without the team, though. And Cracks and Techno JJ, they're over here farming, and this dragon is falling fairly quickly, so I don't know if they're going to be able to end game push here. But as we see, Hundor in the top lane is definitely getting a good split push going. And here comes Joselu.
Yeah, right now you also have Techno in the mid lane. He's going to be able to try and take that. They do secure the top lane turret with a nice split push coming out. And Tyro's going to be on his own. He does, like, bait them out actually quite well with that Mirage ultimate. I didn't expect him actually to go that way. I thought he would go down in the jungle, but that was nicely executed.
Oh.
Tyros, he does have the dive potential. He's diving on through to get a two-man dance blades damage on top of them. Now he's looking for the 1v1 down on Lelouch VIB. Can he find it? I do not think so. Lelouch will be able to increase the gap. He's going to start backporting to base. He will be able to stop the backport right there, but still nicely done. That's going to be Lelouch VIB going down in 1v1's fight. Now we do have VG Josue. He's trying to get the damage out. He does pick up one kill though with the Arden. Still now going to be also the casualty on the side of... Oh no, wait. Anchor diving on through once again. He's going to take the focus from the enemy Vein Crystal, and he will be dropping down. First, actually no, second time for Tyros actually dropping in that fight, but still 8-2. What a beast on this Anchor. Man, we were just talking about Anchor, I think, in this game, don't we? It's just like, I think it's like, not really alpha, it's just Anchor's so good. Like, just ban it away.
Yeah, I definitely am all for the banning of the Anka every single time, especially since we can't click on the Anka, but
I can click now. I've done it. It doesn't bug around now, so I'm pretty happy now.
Cool. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens, but yeah, I mean, Anka, every game we've seen her in, even on the games that she's lost through the mid stage of the game, no matter how far the team is behind, Anka is always able to come through and always able to make something happen. And when you put it on a team like Sly, on a player like Tyra's, you know, you really expect him to run rampant with that pick the whole time. They've cracked open that center armory. They've crippled the top lane. Bot lane, still pretty healthy. I don't think Sly cares. They're looking for one more fight here in a minute, and then they're just going to push right through to the Vein Crystal and pull up a victory.
You only need really 2 lanes hard push to be able to end the game. Force the core will be connecting onto the Arden, not the main focus, still able to do so with quite a bit amount of success. Finn gonna try and run his way out. That one, that's gonna be actually the trigger pulled off by Potato Pedal. Hundor is taking quite a hit to the face, gonna be very cautious. Solar Storm rips on through onto Dorcas, taking quite a bit of damage out from that ability. And now it is Tyros diving on through, trying to go 1v5. He's going to ham on the enemy team with the Mirage ultimate. Will he pick up a kill? No, he will not. But now Tyros, without his ultimate, he cannot escape from this gauntlet. And that's going to be a turnaround from Potato Pedal. But be careful, Hundor, he's there. And well, he does have his Bone Sword Tornado trigger build up. So his damage output is pretty damn insane. Bruto, what are you doing, Bruto? Why you got to throw that fight? You guys did so well, but now you lose it. And now you're giving over a free Ghost Ring potential over to the enemy team. Lelouch VIP going to try and run away for his bare life. He will not be able to do so. 2 extra kills going away off Sly. That was like, they started it so well, but they kind of threw it out the window, Denominate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And Hundor, huge amounts of damage coming out of this Adagio. Look at the attack speed with the Tornado Trigger and the Bone Saw. Joselu's coming over. He's got vision.
Joselu, can he get Joselu? No, he can't. It's going to be secured away by your boy Hundor. Was the now Burst of Judgment, Divine Intervention 2. Just not going to be enough to keep Hundor well and good. Core Collapse connects.
Tyrus.
Yeah, but here comes Cyrus indeed. He's looking for the fight. He gets the Dance of Blaze damage right on top. Solar Storm ripping on through too. Cyrus, he knows he's going to get that kill pretty easy. Dives on through once again. You cannot stop him. Followed up with a core collapse doorcast. He doesn't have his ultimate anymore. He will be the next casualty in that fight. But damn! Just put an anchor back in the fight and it's all going your way. Now he's looking for more. We're going to dive on through once again. Does secure away that Goldo. Doesn't get hit by the Oblivion, but man, sticks and stones may break my bones, but an enemy anchor may do it way better.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a game all about Tyra's maintaining control on this Anka 9-3-3, and in fact his deaths have always been followed up with preemptive because of a couple kills. You know, for example, we watched the dive earlier, cleaning up 3 kills underneath that turret. So huge plays coming out of this guy today. We've got a Black Claw started up here. I think it's more of a you give it, we win. You have to steal it.
Man, Potato Pedal's got to rename to team out of position. I think that'll be a lot more on point. Kanaka does get a nice little bit of Quibble onto Vichihoswe, but still Vichihoswe, he's stacking up on his Dragon's Eye, does now have the itemization, so he can just peel up the damage output, and they're turning it around for Potato Pedal. Kanaka on the run, will be able to make his way out of that one. Tyrus and Cracks, and also Hundor, very, very low. They're going to try and play a little bit with their food right now. Tyrus, he still does have his ultimate, but what are you doing? Once again, out of position, the Vox. Don't try and pick up that one-on-one fight. You cannot do so. Gonna be stolen away by your boy Hundor. 1v4, but he doesn't give it. And force the cord. Getting a 3-man stun also with a Quibble. Now, Hundor gonna try and run his way out of that one. He's gonna get slowed down. They do get a 1-on-3 onto the Finn. We'll be able to take him down. But man, that Black Claw was the redemption part of the game for unfortunately Potato Pedal, and they just weren't able to secure it. And Hundor, with his crit damage, is able to proc it down. That's very unfortunate. But now, like, Potato Pedal, like, they showed it off right there. They have a potential to come back in this game. They just got to get on point with that positioning, because it's just mistakes that allow Sly to just, like, ease their way back in those team fights.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things about that last fight is it actually looked like he might have had a lack of communication on the side of Sly there. Grace did pop the Crucible to allow Techno JJ to get out of that gauntlet. And he turned around into the fight, wasted too much time, then wasn't able to escape the gauntlet, and that's where he got collapsed on. That's where he got shut down. And it does give a little bit of gold back over to the side of Potato Pedal. This is still a very even gold game across the board. We're 21 minutes in, and we're talking about 500-600 gold. That's not crazy for the fact that we have a 12-kill lead right now for the side of Sly. You know, that 12-kill lead is easily more than the 500 gold difference.
Yeah, and also, like, it's not a gold lead to the point where you, like, can't come, like, a kill lead where you can't come back from it. It's not a problem, man. They can easily come back, and we saw in the last fight, they have opportunities. Just once again, their positioning has been pretty bad overall in this game. So I want to see, like, specifically, I'm looking at you, Lelouch VIB, sorry, Bruto. Man, you guys got to stay really on point in that position. That's going to be a nice engagement. And look at that, almost a one-shot, I think, could come out down on top of Lelouch VIB from your boy Tyrus on this anchor. They're looking for the re-engage. There are now 4 members. Bruto joins the rise, ready to fight it out. They do have vision, though, on this objective. Can we see another steal coming out from Potato Pedal? It is definitely possible. Check it out. You have the stacks now starting to come out. Finn just stacking material for this box. Can they secure it away? Yes, it will be taken by Lelouch VIP. You just redeemed yourself for picking that Ozo in game number 1. You're never going to be missed out by Cracks. Unfortunately, Soda Storm did a lot of work. And Tyrus will normally be dropping down, but the Divine Intervention going to be able to keep it on a slither of HP and trades out a kill. 1-on-1 core collapse. Missing out. Now they have to re-engage. They're pulling up the trigger. Double kill gun away of this box. 15 stacks on the Dragon's Eye, but the force to call. Lelouch VIP gets a block. Will it be enough? I'm not too sure, but now they can pull the trigger once again, trying to dive on top of this Techno JJ on this Celeste, but they will not be able to find them, and they do find the Finn for their troubles, though. Man, like, once again, Potato Pedals, they have an opportunity. They just, if they, like, pull most team fights like this, they can pull this game off.
Yeah, they absolutely can. In that last fight, Jazalou had a absolutely phenomenal push there out of his gauntlet. Came down, dropped it directly on Tyra's, got a huge amount of burst damage down off the back of it, and they were able to take Tyra's out before he was able to have a huge impact on the fight. At that point, VG Jaz, how do you pronounce it again, Max?
The what? Which one? Sorry.
Vox, VG
Josue.
Josue?
You said it the Spanish way. You say VG Josue.
VG Josue. I'm trying to work on all the European pronunciations. I'm working on it. But
wait, you're in America, so you got Mexico not too far.
I am in the way north of America.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But which is terrible because I actually did learn Spanish at one point, so you think I would at least be able to get that.
Man, same. It's no problem. You
yeah,
forget it all after.
But he was able to clean up the back of that fight because he was able to survive past Tyra's what would normally be his burst potential again, just due to that great gauntlet. But here we go, another fight breaking out.
Bruto is just like face checking bushes as if it's worth nothing. So the Storm ripping on through. Bruto going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Core collapse does connect on top of the Samuel. He does have the Shimmer Blade down. Tyrus could look for the re-engage, but will not be doing so. He's not ready to pull off the trigger as he did in that last skirmish we had earlier towards the Ghost Wing. Can try and re-engage, but man, like they're just so scared, man. He hits one ability, they're just running away, and kind of understandable to be completely honest. What's the cord for Kyanunika was used up, unfortunately. 20-second cooldown. Are they ready to look for the re-engage? Maybe, but man, Tyrus, he can just got so many opportunities. But he's just once again not ready to commit and pull the trigger. He's just a little bit, I think he was a little bit scared to engage, and I do definitely understand. Kyanunika then the double man stun. Look at the Celeste damage right on top of the box. That's gonna be allowing CP damage. Buff. Wait, the stacking material coming out from the Dragon's Eye. They get the Gauntlet. Unfortunately, not going to be very useful in that fight. So the Storm tanked up by the Laros. The double man forced a cord. Did just get off cooldown. Unfortunately, not going to be able to result in any kills. Tara's almost getting the Shimmer Blade down on Vigi Josue. Will not be able to find. So, and Lelouch! What are you doing, my friend? Get the hell out of there, man. No, Lelouch, please. No, Lelouch. Okay, we lost him. Goodbye, Lelouch. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my... Wait. So can he survive? No, he can't. Okay, I was like, no, maybe a miracle is possible, but that will not be the case. He's got another Shimmer Blade. It was a very nice rebuke, actually, coming out from your boy, Bruto. Just able to get his way out. That one is just going to re-engage, and Tyro's just picking up 1, picking up 2, picking up 3 kills for himself. As he does secure a double kill, just a little bit too slow to get a triple. Force a cord. Block just going to be way too late for Vigi Josue. His name is Houdini. Is Vigi Josue going to be able to get out of Tyro's grasp for now at least, but still Vigi Josue will not be able to backport as Cracks will be focusing him down. You know what the side of Slight is doing? They are focusing down this Vein Crystal, and this is 100% going to be a 2-0 situation as Tyro secures once again another kill. 2-0, and we have our next finalist. Sorry, Tyro, we have our next finalist. That's going to be Sly, and they will be facing up against Divine Vendetta in 2 weeks after their Worlds Tournament in Los Angeles. They will face in Divine Vendetta in 2 weeks in the European Champions Cup. GG to Sly.
Look at that scoreline for Tyras, though. 14-5-3. Huge play on the Anka. This is exactly why you do not give that pick away so freely. Hundor came through strong with that weapon power Adagio, finishing off with the Poison Shiv, helping to reduce some of the healing that Dorcas and Jazalou were able to put out to the team. Overall, Sly just... they came down to be the better team at the end of things. I think Potato Pedal performed absolutely excellently, and I am excited to see more of what they're able to pull off moving forward.
Yeah, definitely cannot wait to see. But this is like, as I said earlier, a little bit of a warm-up, I think, for the side of Sly winning this tournament. I think that they're, like, if they want to have a shot at becoming world champion, they have to win this match. Like, I'm not really surprised of the outcome of this matchup. Still, congratulations to the side of Sly, or now I'll call them Clash as the tournament, as this match is now over, and next time we'll be seeing this team, they'll be under the name of Clash in Los Angeles next weekend, guys. We've got to support our good old European pros. Let's check it out. Anyways, if you did just join us, we are now done for the day in these matches. We did have 2 awesome sets of BO3s. We did have Oogie Boogie versus Divine Vendetta. Divine Vendetta coming up on top in a 2-1 situation. And then the match that just ended was Sly securing their second game that they needed to get to the final phase of the European Champions Cup up against Potato Pedal. So guys, in 2 weeks, what we'll be having matchup-wise, we'll be having Divine Vendetta versus Sly for the Grand Finals. And that will be on Sunday. But on Saturday, in 2 weeks, I don't know when exactly it's going to be Saturday in 2 weeks. Let me check that out for the dates. Saturday. It will be the 29th of December. So that's going to be that matchup for then Oogie Boogie versus Potato Pedal. And then on the 23rd, on the Sunday 23rd, it will be DVI versus Team Sly. And we'll be trying to get our European champion in this European Champions Cup. Once again, thank you guys very much for sticking around in this awesome set of matches. We'll be wrapping things up here. We do have a FlashX also streaming. I don't know if we can maybe hit a host for your boy FlashX. That would be really nice if we have someone taking care of the channel. But yeah, before we do wrap things up, boys and girls, do you have anything to add, Denominate, before we do shut down the stream?
Not really. I'm just, looking forward to seeing you guys all come out again 2 weeks from now, not next week, but we will be finishing up the tournament here between Divine Vendetta and Sly, who we witnessed both today play. Obviously, they both were able to overcome their enemies, and now we'll be closing out.
Yeah, we'll be closing out. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for spending a little bit of your time with us today. We do appreciate it. You're taking your time with us. Do not forget, if you want, next week on the Vainglory official channel, it will be the World's Invitational of the EPL or European scene. So if you want to see which team will be able to secure their world's #1 spot, let's check it out. Maybe Chai will lose their world spot, their world champion spot. I wouldn't be surprising. They are going up against Clash, up against Ace, and also Nova. So a lot of awesome action coming out to you next week that we do kind of deserve. We didn't have much in 2018, unfortunately. And after that, the week after the finals and the grand finals of the European Champions Cup, we hope to see you guys there. Once again, thank you so much for sticking around. Hope you had a good time. My name was Maxman, joined once again by my good friend and fellow caster, Denomine. Stay awesome and see all of you guys next time on The Rise.
To escape. It will change your mood. When you're walking on the moon. Walking on the moon. Chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. That I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel. When you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance again, that I've never been. That I've never been. Walking on the moon. One moment to escape. It will change your mood. When you're walking on the you